What's up, ladies and gentlemen? It's your host, DJ Hamilton, the DJ Sports Show. If you guys are watching on YouTube, like and subscribe. You listen on your platforms only with 5-star ratings. Here, anybody you know who loves sports. We don't have as full of a house this time. Phil and Armani are busy with their own thing going on. So I just have my boy Dylan. How you doing, Dylan?
DJ, I'm doing great. Thank you as always for having me on. Anytime you call, you know what I'm saying, I answer. I'm glad to, it was a lot of fun that Western Conference episode. So we got to take it to
people
the
were
best
tuned
coach.
in, man. People were tuned in.
Yeah,
I said we got to get this conversation. The season starts in 2 days officially, so got to get it in, man. Dude got the Rico cut with the little swerve right there, looking like you in high school. Yo, we had a great conversation before this, before the record button. Hey, you a funny dude, bro.
I appreciate it, man. Much love. This is the Nas haircut, man. You know, it's the Esco.
Nas haircut, yes, sir. Nas, one of my favorite rappers of all time. One of the greats, man. Goated.
One of the goats. So I'll just pay homage. But we definitely had a combo that ain't a podcast combo, but it's all good.
Hey, not for sports though. Not for sports. At least maybe for a different type of demographic.
It's all game at the end of the day. It's all game at the end of the day, but just not that kind of game.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. All right, man. Let's get into it. So the first team, I want to get into. I'm gonna go. So the East, I did it different from the West. I went by from worst team to best team. So your Celtics are gonna be the last team. Save the best for last. So we're going with the Pistons.
That's what we did with the Western Conference last time.
No, I just mixed it up in the West. Yeah, I just mixed it up, the records. I didn't go from worst to best. Yeah. This one I said, let's do a little different. All right. So first we got the Pistons, 14-68. They were finished last in the East. They fired Monty Williams to bring in J.B. Bickerstaff from the Cavaliers as the new head coach. They hired Trajan Langdon as president of basketball operations. And they signed and traded for veterans such as Tobias Harris, Malik Beasley, and Tim Hardaway Jr. They drafted Ron Holland, 5th overall from the G League. One thing I have for the Pistons, can Cade Cunningham take that next leap? Like, we've seen signs and flashes through these last couple of years. He's had some little injury issues some seasons, and then also they didn't have a great team around him. But when he plays, man, he can get buckets, man. This guy is a guy who can give you a 20 a game, give you 6 to 7 assists per game. He's a big guard, 6'8". He can post you up. He has a nice mid-range game. He's not going to blow by you with his quick burst of speed. He's not an explosive athlete. But there was a reason why they gave him poor man's Luka Doncic comparisons when he was coming out of Oklahoma State, excuse me. So I just want to see like what he can do with this. And what's his name? Bickerstaff, he's implementing more of a different culture. He's saying no hoodies this season. I saw that on Instagram. No hoodies. You can't wear a hoodie. You got to wear a professional apparel. They're changing the culture in Detroit. I'm really optimistic what they can do. I want to see what Arsar Thompson can do this year in his second year. Before he got hurt, he was playing some like all defensive type defense, man. I was like, yo, this guy can make all defense as a rookie. But then he got hurt and stuff. But I want to see what he continues to do this season now that he has a year of experience under his belt. And I want to see how his jumper improves. That's the thing with the Thompson twins, both of them. Their jumper was always the question coming into the league. Did he make a jump with his jumper in the offseason? And I want to see if he got stronger too. But yeah, I want to see what pieces they have. They put better around Cade. I hope they can at least try to make a play-in, situation. Maybe not make the playoffs, but they can at least make the jump into the play-in. That would be considered a successful season for them.
Absolutely. I didn't know that Coach Bickerstaff is taking the Coach Carter approach to things, but hey, it's a bold strategy. We'll see if it pays off.
He don't want people looking at hood like hoodlums, I get
it. I get it. You know what I'm saying? Older black coach. You know what I'm saying? I definitely get it. I respect it. I think that Detroit has gotten too accustomed to losing these last few years. You know what I'm saying? This is a far cry from where they were 20 to 15, 16 years ago. A far cry from those days, and definitely a far cry from 30 years ago during the Bad Boys era. So I think right now they're finding their identity offensively. I think I think Cade is their guy, and I think I'm very high on his talent. You mentioned Luka Doncic. I remember seeing comparisons to Jason Tatum and Grant Hill as well, which I think are pretty accurate to his play style. Which, I mean, you put 3 of those guys into one player.
He's not as athletic as them, but yeah.
No.
Yeah,
But
those
like
guys are not good.
the skill wise is like a big forward, a big point forward type. It matches up. But he's got to stay healthy. That's always his thing is health.
Yeah.
Health is wealth, and I think as long as he stays healthy, he's got the ability. I'm very high on Ausar Thompson. I loved what I saw out of him last year, and I think him and Ron Holland, while they're not the best shooters, and that is a concern I still have, is which I hope that's where Tobias Harris and Tim Hardaway Jr. are able to be valuable, components to that offense. But their defensive ability, their athleticism on the wings, that takes pressure off of Cade. But they're both great slashers. They're both guys who, with their head, they can put their head down and get a bucket at the rim. But I think Ausar, his game is going to take levels, like you said, once he gets that jumper. A player that I'm very high on the Pistons roster is Jalen Duren. I love his game.
Yep.
I think he's the type of big
he
man.
Took big steps in year two. He took big steps in year two.
He took big steps, and I think he's got all-star potential. I don't think that's crazy to say, but I think he's got all-star potential. His game is constantly expanding. He was the top recruit of his class for a reason. He's got great size. He's got great feet for a big man. Great footwork. And I think that the more refined he gets with his game, you're looking at a guy who could put up 20 and 10 very easily. Once he gets that jumper consistent, that's how high I'm on. Because he plays
really high on him. You might be higher on him than me.
Yeah, I think as a is he going to be a 30-point scorer? No. But I think he's a guy that in the modern NBA, we had talked about, can a big who isn't a 3-point spacer, can they thrive? I think he's that kind of big. He's got the body for it, the athleticism for it, and he plays with the demeanor. I like that he plays with a bit of a mean junkyard dog kind of aggression to his game. But he's not a crash out, you know what I'm saying? He's not over here wilding out, but he plays with a lot of aggression, and it shows from night in and night out. And I don't watch a lot of Pistons games, but
nobody probably has unless you're diehard Pistons fans the last couple of years.
But he's a player.
Sorry to my guy Rob Parker. I know he loves Detroit.
Shout out to Rob, though. Hey, big shout out to Rob, man. I love you for real. But yeah, I think he's a player that, I think there's a lot of potential there. Another guy that they have on the roster I'm very high on is Marcus Sasser. I think Marcus Sasser is a great off the bench point guard, and I think he's somebody that they can run lineups where they put Cade at the 2 or the 3 and Ausar or Ron at the 2 or the 3, and you put Sasser at the 1. He's a great distributor. So I think they have some pieces around there to be a solid team, and I think and Isaiah Stewart, Rochester, New York, right?
That's where you're located. That's why your Wi-Fi kind of fuzzy.
Throwing up the rock, you know what I'm saying? Now he's had some crash out moments in his day, obviously, but you need an enforcer on your team.
Yeah, enforcer, man.
But he's a good player.
Guy, but he's an enforcer, energy guy.
Yeah, but he's a very underrated player. Kid averages around 11, 7, and a block a game. You know what I'm saying? On very efficient shooting. He can space the floor if need be. He's for an undersized big, he plays bigger than his size. You know what I'm saying? And we know Detroit loves their undersized big men that can space the floor. You know what I'm saying? Well, not undersized, but they've historically, whether with Rasheed Wallace or Bill Laimbeer, they like physical, aggressive big men who also could space the floor. So I think ultimately, I think there is playing potential for this team, just not this year. If the team takes leaps, then they can. I very much want to see what they do with Jaden Ivey because I've heard rumors that he might get moved. I hope not. I'm very high on his game as well. I think he's
opportunity last year. Monty Williams was basically shoving him to the bench. He was basically freezing him.
Yeah.
He was basically
I'm rocking Monty Williams, but that wasn't a smart.
What kind of coaching guy that was last season? He basically quit on the team. He was just doing it for the money. It seemed like that contract.
He said, "Look, I'm getting paid. That's all that matters."
The longest losing streak in NBA history. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, that's unacceptable. The Pistons are a great franchise. They have a great NBA history. So you can't have that kind of stuff infect your culture. And I think Jaden Ivey to me he's Ja Morant light, but he's more skilled as an offensive scorer. I think he's got more of a natural game. And Ja's my guy. I own a jersey of his, like that's my guy. But
he's like a 2-guard version of I think he's a 2-guard poor man's Ja version.
Yeah. He's more of a scorer. Ja's a better facilitator,
Playmaker,
passer.
Natural facilitator.
Yeah. Jaden is like you said, he's a two. He's a two that's kind of a one.
Been watching him since his Purdue days.
Yeah, he was a dog at Purdue. So I think ultimately the Pistons have a lot of young pieces. It's all about finding the right spots, and they just got to produce. And they could be very well a dark horse team, and I wouldn't put it past them to. That would be a crazy turnaround to go from winning 14 games to being at least a 40-win team. But that's if they take that step, then as a Pistons fan, and if you're working in the Pistons front office, you have to be happy about that.
Exactly. And I want to see what the additions of Malik Beasley, Tobias Harris, and Tim Hardaway Jr., those guys who are all capable of giving you 15 to 20 a game, can they be consistent? That's one thing with Tim Hardaway Jr. That's why the Mavericks kind of got rid of him, because inconsistencies. One day he's hot, he's giving you 8 threes. Next game he goes 0 for 12, 1 for 15. You need to be more consistent, and that's one thing I want to see with him there. And Detroit, and then Malik Beasley, he's a guy who's a knockdown 3-point shooter. Tobias Harris has shown he could be a third option on a playoff team. Adding that experience, those guys, they've been in playoff moments, playoff battle tested. Can they inject that energy onto this young team that hasn't had playoff success in a while? So I want to see what they could teach these young cats, such as Cade Cunningham, how to win little fundamentals, habits, so they could learn how to win these ball games. Because some games, Pistons are doing great, and then to the end of the game, they blow it. So I want to see. And I think Pistons making the play-in, it's going to come down to, yes, the guys, the pieces around him need to be more consistent, but really, ultimately, it comes down to Cade Cunningham if he takes that superstar leap. It really comes down to him. Even number one pick in 2021, you're expected to be that dude. So and we paid you your contract extension. We gave you the extension this offseason. So now we're expecting you to play like an All-NBA superstar because you have the talent.
Year 4.
Now
it's year 4.
With great power comes great responsibility. So you're the number one pick. You got this big contract now. Now it's time for you to lead us to some wins. Try to make a push for the playoffs.
Absolutely.
So
I think
so we both have the Pistons playing.
No, but I don't. Okay. But here's the thing. I think they have the potential to.
Okay.
But I can't.
I'm gonna say this. You have them out the plan. I say, you know what? I'm gonna say they make the play-in. They just get it. They just get 10 seed.
Okay. 10 spot.
I'm gonna go on the limb.
Okay.
I like the veterans added to the team. I'm liking the culture the Picker staff's doing. So I'm gonna go on the limb. I said they get the seed. As long as Cade stays healthy and balls out.
I'm not mad. Well, compared to teams like Washington, compared to a team like Chicago, I think actually I do think they have a chance. If we're going off the rest of the Eastern Conference competition, playing 10 spot isn't bad. I'll go with that. Let's say Cade takes that leap, the veterans step in, fill out nicely, and the young guys continue to build and develop. 10 spot. I'm fine with that. Let's rock.
So now we got the Washington Wizards, 15 and 67. It's crazy. It just had a better record than the Pistons. That's how bad the Pistons were. 14th in the East. And the Wizards are pretty much a laughing stock of the NBA. So they drafted Alex Carr second overall. They drafted Keyshawn George from 24th. They lost Tyus Jones to Phoenix Suns. They traded Denny Avia to Portland. Added Sadiq Bey, Malcolm Brogdon. They re-signed Richaun Holmes. Question I have is, honestly, can Jordan Poole get back his confidence playing efficient basketball? And what jump will Bilal Coulibaly make his second year in the league? Yeah. Honestly, I don't really have much to say about the Wizards. Honestly, this is going to be a terrible team. This team is going to be one of the laughing stocks of the NBA. They're honestly in the Cooper Flag sweepstakes.
I was just about to say.
You're telling me their leaders on the team are Kyle Kuzma and Jordan Poole? Back it up and let's send it in. They ain't going nowhere this year, man. Washington, I know you. At least you got the Commanders. My boy Phil, I know he'll watch this. I know he's a Washington guy. Shout out to you in DC, my boy, and Sebastian. But basketball-wise, it's going to be a heartbreaker season. I'm sorry. At least you got the Commanders. At least Jaden Daniels balling out for you. But I just want to say that. I'm sorry, man. But another year, the Wizards ain't going nowhere. There's no hope this year.
Hey,
they ain't and then Alex, and sorry, a lot of people were calling him a bust in the summer league. I'm like, bro, give the kid some time. I know, bro, he did have a game where he scored 0 points. I'm like, bro, what is it? 7-2, 0 points, like barely any rebounds. I'm like, that doesn't look good. I know he's from France. I know France is producing studs, but like, you ain't Victor Wembanyama. I know that, but like, damn, bro, 0 don't.
Everybody ain't Victor or Tony Parker. Nah, I think overall,
I see this team. I'm gonna go missing the playoffs completely. They don't have the pieces. They don't. Jordan Poole, he looks like he's lost his confidence, bro. I don't know what happened. Yeah. I know the Draymond Green punch. It seemed like that shit changed him forever, man.
Like, I think so too.
It hasn't been the same.
I think the fact that Golden State sided with Draymond, despite the fact that Poole was younger,
and on him psychologically.
Yeah, like that's gotta sting you. Like, wait a minute. So this guy can Roy Jones, Superman.
He was balling. He was efficient, playing great basketball, moving the ball, moving out the ball, taking smart shots. I know he'll take some crazy shots here and there, but he was actually making them. Some of the players saw those last season. I'm like, what are you doing? He's trying to do some straight ball stuff, losing the ball, and then knocking. I'm like, bro, what are you doing? I'm like, yo, what happened to you?
Crazy enough, I got a homie who that's like his childhood homie. They both from Milwaukee, and I asked him. I was like, and there was stuff that he told me that I can't admit, but like out loud I could tell you in private. But I was like, yo, like, did that punch really affect his confidence? He was like, yeah, and honestly, also like just the way that Golden State's management moved. And I think it was just it was a slap in the face because it's like, again, I'm looked at as potentially life after Steph and Clay. I'm looked at as the next guy who's taking that torch, and you side with the guy who that punch could have like ended him. You know what I'm saying? Like as funny as it was to make jokes about it, the sheer
it ruined
force
the whole chemistry of the team that year, 2 seasons ago.
The sheer force
that was the hottest 2 years ago, man.
Was, and Draymond could have killed him with that punch. That was like that was as bad of a punch as Kermit Washington,
bro, went Mike Tyson
on Rudy Tomjanovich in the 70s, and or even like or remember at the Mouse of the Palace, if Jermaine O'Neal didn't slip on the ice when he went to punch that dude in the stands, he would have been dead. A full force from a 7-foot, 260-pound all-star center. Yeah, you done.
Especially when he's angry.
So
when adrenaline. Yeah.
Yeah. So like that had to be a huge slap in the face. And he already was having issues with some of his shot selection. You put him on a team now where it's like, okay, have fun, do your thing. But as a player, he has a lot of work to do on his efficiency as a number one option, because even if we want to go back to Michigan, right? He was playing with Franz Wagner. He was playing with what's his name? Morgan, the big man. They had pieces there on that Michigan team.
Yeah.
So he hasn't been the number one guy since he was in high school. And I don't know if he is a number one guy in the league. Like, I think he's very fun to watch. Like, I tell people all the time, when I was growing up playing basketball, how I was, like, I was super cocky. I would try to do all kind of dribble moves. If some baddies were in the crowd, I'm showing out. I was a lot like a Jordan Poole. Not gonna lie. Like he's one of the players that, like,
he's the Beige brother connection. Beige brother connection.
Yeah, and I had our progressive basketball. Yeah, I played a lot like Jordan Poole. I was a showboat, but I would get benched because of that. Coaches would get mad. So I had to learn like I got to be more of a pure point guard. And I think that's the thing, is that I don't know if he is a pure point guard, but I think that will be the biggest. Yeah, but it's like I think if he learns to take smarter shots, I think that'll be good for him. But I think he needs to get up out of Washington for the sake of his career because it's a.
Yeah.
I don't want to be rude. I love the city of DC. I got nothing but love for DC as a city, but the Wizards are one of the most incompetent sports franchises.
He's playing in a fire dumpster down there.
He is, yeah. And the rest of the team. There's just not much going there. I was big on Johnny Davis a couple years ago, and he's looked decent in preseason, but he has struggled in the NBA. He has struggled a lot in the NBA.
Everybody had the D-Book comparisons when he was coming in, man. Some people had D-Book comparisons.
I'm like, y'all just doing that because he light skinned and shoot mid range jumpers, man.
I mean, his game was like this too. He had the midi, get to the rim.
Yeah.
Like
no. He was nice. But I mean,
he was a bucket.
They got they got Saddiq Bey, they got Jonas Valanciunas, Richaun Holmes.
Yeah,
they got my guy Marvin Bagley out there. That's a good, they got. So they got some decent vets. They got my boy Marvin Bagley down there. I still am hoping that he can live up to that number 2 overall pick potential.
You still think
but
you still think that year 7?
I'm a Duke fan. Of course, I'm a rock.
Steve Nash took a while. It took like to 6th, 7th year to become the All-Star, or 8th year to Hall of Fame. But he don't have the smarts of Steve Nash. He don't have the skill.
I don't know. He did. To be fair to Marvin, he declassified.
He seems like he loves rapping a little more.
Hey, the brother can spit though. He nice.
It seems like he
So I remember sometime someone said he nicer on the bars than on the court. I said, "Oh, that's messed up. That's messed up."
When he was in high school, I thought he was gonna be a franchise cornerstone one day.
Too. What he declassified from your class to join my recruiting class, 2017, and he was a stud in college, and he was balling out his rookie year. And then just Sacramento, at the time, their front office was really, really bad still. And he had injuries. And I don't know. I just feel like I don't feel like he was given enough of a chance because they brought in Sabonis pretty quickly after that. So I still think that, again, it might not be in the Pistons, but he might. Not Pistons, sorry, the Wizards. But I still think he has a lot of raw potential that hasn't been fully harnessed yet. But the rest of the roster, you know what I'm saying? You got guys on there like we mentioned Keyshawn George. We talked about I don't know if you brought up Bud Carrington. Actually, I do like Bud Carrington a lot. I think he's a tough-nosed player. And yeah, I like Keyshawn George as well. I think he's a versatile player. Big point forward kind of guy. But overall, they're in the Cooper Flag sweepstakes, by no doubt. There's
no shot of this team even playing. There's no shot of this team even playing at all.
Unless Sarr plays out of his mind or Kuzma. I mean, never mind.
Don't even try to. Don't even try to. Don't even try to lose fans' hope, man. Washington fans, Phil, Sebastian. I know y'all. No, they would even tell you, bro, stop the cap. Washington lottery team this year, bro. They ain't making the playoffs. We can both agree on that. You try to give them a slither of hope. He's like, Sarr plays out in mind.
I tried to do something, but no.
I want to see what jump he makes. You're 6'8", you have long arms. You have the potential to be a great defender. I want to see you take strides on that end this year and continue to round out your offensive game because you're really raw. You have a long way to go, but I want to see what he turns into. I'm not really worried about. He's not really going to be a full-fledged type of impact player on both ends this year, but I think by the next 2 years, I want to start seeing that development because he has potential. But I want to see him develop that. I know he is former teammates with Wemby, and Wemby has raved about him, so I want to continue to see him build his game.
Yeah.
But I have the Wizards playoffs.
Oh, I have. Yeah, I have the Wizards finishing number 1 overall pick this year.
Oh, really? Oh, you think they get Cooper Flag?
Yeah.
Okay.
And if not, if they lose the lottery, I mean, there's a lot of guys out there this coming.
This is a good draft coming up. This ain't like last year. Last year was the most out of tune of the draft I was because it was nobody interesting.
This is a great draft. So
yeah,
I got faith that they'll be all right. I got faith that they'll get a nice pick this year.
So the next team we got Charlotte Hornets, 21-61, 13 in the East. I have questions. Can LaMelo finally stay healthy? What big jump will Brandon Miller make in his sophomore season? They re-signed Miles Bridges to a 3-year, $75 million deal on bird rights. They acquired Josh Green, Taj Gibson, and Reggie Jackson. They signed veteran Seth Curry. They hired Charles Lee as their head coach, and they hired a new training staff. LaMelo Ball, I think he played like 23, 24 games last season. The last 2 years, he's had injuries to his ankles has hampered his seasons. He had all-star type numbers, but he couldn't stay on the court. And man, every time I see him on the court, I'm like, this guy brings a magic to the game. His passing, the way he injects energy into the offense, he pushes the pace, he can shoot the ball, he off the dribble, coming off the screen. He makes everybody's job easier. I want to see him take the next step. Now you're in your fourth into year 5 now. It's time to really start taking that leadership role, staying healthy, taking this team to at least the playoff play-in area. You guys want to take that next step. You guys have the talent. It's not like Brandon Miller. I think he's going to take that next leap. If not for Victor Wembanyama, he would have been Rookie of the Year. Yeah, Brandon Miller. I know we both love this player. He gives me Paul George vibes. Like he gives me young Paul George vibes. He can shoot the 3 ball. He can take it off the dribble, and he'll dunk on your head. He is athletic. When I was watching him at Alabama and in high school, I watched him. I said, yo, this guy can shoot. He's a 6'8" winner that can shoot, put the ball on the floor, defend, and he's athletic. He's going to be successful in the NBA. And then I watched him in college. He took his stock even further. Because I remember when he was 2 years ago, the mock drafts, they had him like mid-first round. I'm like, are they crazy? I'm like, watch, he's going to. And I was right. I was like, you don't sleep on a 6'8", 6'9" wing who can shoot, pass, defend, handle the rock. Like Brandon Miller, I think he's going to take jumps in his game. I just want to see. I think he's going to be. Not this year, but I think by next year, he'll be vying for an all-star spot. If he continues his development, stays healthy, I think by next year, as the team continues to get better, winning-wise, and his game, I think they're going to be making – I want him and LaMelo to be that dynamic duo. Because if LaMelo can't stay healthy, hey, LaMelo, they got another young Redmond over here who's budding, and Brandon Miller, who they could build a franchise around. If you can't stay on the court, we might have to turn the page because we've been trying now for a couple of years. If you can't stay on the court, man, I know they're finally putting ankle braces on him that – he said they're finally working, so we'll see if that could turn his career around. Because remember, that happened with Stephen Curry when he first started his career. He had those ankle issues. Man, imagine he never turned it around. The NBA history would be totally different if Steph Curry never overcame those ankle issues, bro.
Yo, that is a crazy thing to think about. Because I remember, like,
the game will be totally different.
Steph was like his rookie year,
and his first couple years, first like 3 years, man. He was having ankle issues.
Stay healthy.
There were questions about should they give him the extension. They didn't because they were like, "Yo, this guy can't stay on the court. We can't. How are we gonna give him our 7th overall pick the extension if he can't stay on the court?" Like that. It was that cliche, but the best ability is availability. Like it's true.
It is.
I don't care how good you are, but if you're not on the court, you're not helping the team.
No, it was that game against New York where he shimmied and I was like,
I'm here. That game. I was in 7th grade.
He was like, I'm here.
That was his breakout game.
Here I arrived like I am sorry, boy. Don't
he got
with me.
All-Star game that year, man. He got snubbed in 2015.
I voted for him that year too.
Man, he made it the next year, his first one. It took year to year 5, but he should have made it his 4th year. Iman Shumpert said, Raymond Felton was like, who's this light-skinned brother killing us?
Yeah, I saw that.
You see that, right? She was like, on the smoke. I was like, yo. He was like, nah, this dude is on bad MF.
Yeah.
Like, no. That dude different, man.
Game. So, like, I definitely think that the Hornets, it comes down to LaMelo's health. But for them, if you want to talk about a team that needs a culture shift and change, them more than any other team in the NBA. They're as much as like we talked about the Grizzlies, at least the Grizzlies, have turned into a playoff caliber franchise. We have not seen the Hornets be a playoff caliber franchise.
They've made the play in those that I remember LaMelo's his second year when he made the All-Star team. but they got
Yes.
bounced out by the Pacers, I believe. Yeah, they
Yeah.
got bounced out. They didn't like
But
they
that's
came
not,
close. They came close back-to-back years. I think his
yeah.
rookie year and his second year, and they got bounced out each time.
Yeah. And then ever since they've just been so no to I think Brandon Miller, the talent is for real. I see some traces of Tatum in his game as well. Like I don't want to just throw that Tatum comparison, but it's just I can see traces in his game. But if LaMelo can't stay healthy, then yeah, you got
You're
to
gonna have
give
to
the
build around
keys.
Brandon Miller. He's gonna have to
You
be
got
in
to
a more
give him the keys. And I think
him from now.
I think we didn't talk about their rookie, but how do you pronounce his name? Tajan Saloon?
Yeah, Tajan Salon or something like that.
Something,
Saloon. Yeah,
something like that. Yeah.
yeah.
You know,
He's from France, I believe, right?
yeah, he's also from France. I
Yeah,
think,
France be producing factory out here, man. Producing
yeah,
ball
I
play.
guess so.
And
But I don't,
he's like 6'10".
yeah, I don't know what he's gonna do. As far as like his playability, like I don't know. Like he was a
To
prospect
wait and
I had
see.
no idea
Wait and
about.
see.
But I saw he's a big time defender. Um, and he's versatile as a ball handler. So they definitely could use that. I like Mark Williams a lot. He's actually a
Yeah.
center, a
Very
young
athletic,
center that
great lob threat for LaMelo. You know, LaMelo could throw them
very
lobs from any angle.
yeah,
So when they drafted him, I was like, that's a perfect fit for him.
yeah.
Perfect. When he
I'm
got to
very
Duke,
high. He's another young center that I think in the right situation could be a 20 and 10 guy. That's how high.
I think his ceiling is like a stronger version of Clint Capella. Like he has more, a little bit more.
Yeah, I think he got more. I
Capella's
think
more slender. He's more skinnier on the
yeah,
skinny side.
yeah. He's taller, but he's more toned, and I think
Yeah,
he's got more versatility in his offensive game.
yeah.
But the Hornets, you know, I lived in Charlotte for half a year, and I was able, you know, I was lucky thanks to some of my friends who worked for the organization. I was able to go to games for free,
Mm.
and for them, it's culture because like I'd go to the games, and then I'd see these guys out at the club with me and my boys, and it's like
Don't they make players? Don't they make players?
after an L, and I'm thinking, brother, you need to be in the gym. You need to be doing the extra. You need to be, you know what I'm
That's
saying?
crazy.
Oh yeah. I, I
Oh
was
man.
I was in a section with one guy. I'm not gonna put his name out there because I'm hoping he turns his career out wherever he is. But I was in a section with him. And I'm thinking, this guy just played a terrible game.
He
I
got
ain't
the
gonna say
club.
nothing. Yeah, I'm in a section. I'm trying, you know, hey, I'm just glad to be I'm happy to be here. But I'm over
One
here
of those dude.
hey, but I'm thinking to myself, man, like you just played a terrible game. If I was you, I'd be in the gym, you know what I'm saying, getting my shots up. I get it, you want to have fun, you want to let loose, but like after a
After
very bad game,
game, when you lost, Kobe Bryant would rip you into pieces, boy.
it's a culture. They still as a team for whatever reason they don't believe in getting veterans, and they need a veteran there badly. I saw Malcolm Brogdon went to Washington, but honestly, I feel like Malcolm Brogdon would have been better in Charlotte. I feel
Yeah.
like that would have been a good person for LaMelo to learn under, and I feel like as a locker room presence, he would have been perfect for that organization.
Oh yeah.
When it comes to Miles Bridges, it's not a question of talent with him. It's a question of, you
Off the
know,
court. Off the court
off the
stuff.
court. Can he keep his hands to himself and can he stop thinking that he's over here, you know, trying to be a rapper out the hood? It's like I love the music.
Yeah.
The
Like,
brother
bro,
can rap.
focus on Ball. Ball got you out the hood. Come on, Ball got you out the hood,
Yeah,
bro. Don't you
and
want
like I like
come on, be smart in your
Miles.
decisions.
Objectively speaking, Miles makes tough music. I like his music,
I don't listen to this. I don't know.
oh no, he's. I'll send you some stuff. He's nice. He's nice. He got
The
some.
only,
It
only one
rocks.
I listen to is like I've heard is like Bagley and Lillard. They actually have good music.
Yeah, no,
So
they both nice too. But Miles, like, I'll say this: Marvin and Dame are a little bit more intellectual, philosophical. Miles is more slick and ignorant, but it bangs. It bangs. Nah, it's perfect music to bump in the gym, in the whip, just out loud. Like you kicking it, you playing, you know what I'm saying, you playing 2K or something. It'll get you like he make fly his music fly. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Miles got a bright future ahead of himself in the rap world, if it come down to it. He actually could really do it. But he's got to stay on the court and stay out of trouble, because he almost lost out on the contract that he just got last time around. So he can't do that again. His impact is too important to that roster. Without him,
another flyer lob threat for LaMelo, who gets out in transition. Without him, fills the lanes. Yep.
Yeah, without him, they're a much worse team. So they're a team that if they get their ish together, they get their heads out of the
George Lee, he's been playing no games, bro. I heard great things about him. The reports I've seen, he's really getting the new training staff. Yeah, he's been changing the culture. The same thing with JB Bickerstaff in Detroit. Like, both these two organizations, they seem to have changed the culture. So we'll see what they do this season. But I think they'll have the Hornets in the play-in, man.
You got the Hornets in the play-in?
I think they get the ninth. I think they get the ninth seed, like around the ninth.
If I'll say this: if they are fully healthy and
listen, LaMelo can stay on the damn court. If he can play 70 games, I got them.
LaMelo stay healthy. Brandon Miller keep progressing.
Yeah.
Mark Williams keeps expanding his game. Bridges stays out of the BS. Yeah, that's a playing team. Gets out of his own way. That's a playing team for sure. I got them in that 8-9 range as well.
Okay, so we all got them in the play-in.
Yeah.
Next team, we got the Toronto Raptors, 25-57, 12th in the East last year. So they lost Gary Trent Jr. I think that's going to be a big loss for them. They added Davion Mitchell. They didn't really do much this offseason. So they drafted Jacoby Walter, who was the Big 12 Freshman of the Year. And the only really question I had for them, I don't know what kind of team they got. The only really question I have for them, I just want to see what leap does Scotty Barnes take offensively. Can he continue to take that leap as the go-to guy who you can say, in clutch situations when we're down 2 points or down a point, can you be that guy we can go to, give the ball to, like, take us home? That's really it. He made the All-Stars game last year. I want to see if he continue to be that great all-defensive type player. I think he has the tools to do. Because remember, he came into the league, he was primarily known from his defensive elite attributes compared to his offense. His offense, he took us by surprise his rookie year. Nobody expected him to be that good. And he's continued to progress. And out of Florida State, nobody's thought that. But he has a chance. I compare him to, I've always said he's a mix. He reminds me of like a mix of Scottie Pippen, Kawhi Leonard with a little bit of Draymond Green. Like, he has a little bit of all those greats in his game. And I want to continue to see him develop.
I saw someone say he's like the ultimate poor man's LeBron, which I was like, that's not the worst comparison.
Ultimate poor man's? Yeah, that I could get it. But I don't think he's LeBron. I think he's more Pippen and Kawhi. Kawhi.
I think so as well. A little bit of Artest in his game. But he's a very versatile player. But I think he's a player who is on his way to really ascending and climbing. Although off the court, I don't know what that brother is thinking, but hey,
I don't know what he's been doing off the court, so I don't know what he's talking about. I am in.
He got a kid on the way, and the woman is like, she's in her 30s or something like that.
Oh, so he's like the LaMelo Ball, except
it's like no. This is like PJ Washington and Brittany Renner. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Shorty threw a Hail Mary at the end zone. So one last time.
Hey, touchdown.
18 years. Yeah. Woo! I think Scotty, as long as he keeps expanding his offensive game to be a go-to guy, I think that plays a big impact on the Raptors' success. My boy RJ Barrett down there, he had a really good year after he, kind of returned to his Canadian roots. I liked what I saw out of Emmanuel Quickley out there as well. I thought he's getting better. He's becoming more than just a spark plug scorer off the bench. I think they're actually a team who I think is going to make the playoffs.
You think so?
Yeah, I think they just have too much talent on their team that as long as they keep trending the right way, we forgot Mr. Mr. Grady, with the unfortunate last name, but Grady Dick. He's a good player too.
Yep.
He's a good player too. I'm interested to see what happens with Davion Mitchell. He's always been a player that I've liked in the league as far as a defensive guard that's very athletic. And then they also got Bruce Brown, who is one of the more underrated glue guys. He was a big piece to that 2023 Nuggets team. So I think they have they have a very solid roster. They got Chris Boucher and Jakob Pertl and Olynyk. That's where they are a little weaker at the bigs, but they're not like bad. It's just they're more stronger in the forward in the guard room. But they do their job. And I think again, as long as guys stay healthy, then they'll be all right. But it's a matter of if Scotty Barnes takes that next leap as well. He's also part of that 2021 class, and he's got to be the very strong class, but he's got to be the number one, indisputably, undeniably. I would like to see as well how RJ Barrett ascends as well. I think he's becoming more efficient.
You're gonna need RJ Barrett to be that number 2 option.
Yeah, big time, on the ball. So I've got the Raptors going to the playoffs personally.
Oh, I have, bro. I'm gonna be honest. I have them missing the playoffs.
Ooh, okay.
I have them. Yeah, because I was like, not every team can make the play-in and stuff. So I'm like, and the teams when we get to the top, I have all the teams that made the playoffs last year basically making the playoffs. So I'm just like, we'll see. I got the Raptors. I got the Raptors are like the 11 seed. I think they just missed the play-in.
I'm not mad at that though.
I don't see them being worse than the Nets, which we're gonna get into. They're not going to be worse than they're not going to be worse than the Wizards or Pistons. They're going to be better than those teams. Those teams I think they're going to make they're going to be just miss the play. I think they're going to just miss. So, yeah.
Well, wait, but you did say you had the Pistons go to the play-in though.
Oh yeah, I did say the Pistons. I know I have the Wizards missing. I have the Wizards. Yeah, I have the Wizards missing. I have the Nets missing the playoffs, play-in, whatever you want to call it. And I have the Bulls missing too, so we're gonna get into the Bulls too. But yeah, we're gonna get into that.
Bulls, I think
he's like Bulls.
My prediction is 7-8 seed for the Raptors. Yeah,
Raptors. Okay. So Brooklyn Nets now. We got Brooklyn, BK, New York, 32-50 last year, 10th in the East. Ben Simmons, is he healthy? Is he finally healthy? Is he really back? He's played 57 games the last 3 seasons combined. Can Cam Thomas expand his game as a playmaker? We know he can score and get a bucket, but he seems to have tunnel vision. But last year he averaged 3 assists per game. But when you watch him, I would like to see him be more of a natural creator, create shots off the bounce because he's going to draw that second defender because he's such a bucket getter. Can he continue to learn how to make his teammates better? That's the ultimate mark of a great player. They acquired Dennis Schroeder, who I think is going to be a good point guard for them. Especially, that's basically backup insurance for their point guard position. Especially Ben Simmons turns out to be missing the season again if he gets injured. They added Thaddeus Young as well. They fired Jack Vaughn, and they hired Jordi Fernandez as their head coach. And basically, I said, in question mark, wave the flag, because I think they're good. This team ain't making the playoffs. They ain't making the play-in. I'm sorry, Brooklyn friends. Any realistic Nets fans know you guys are not making the postseason.
They are in the.
This is a building year to see what pieces you have who could be a foundational piece for your team in the next couple of years. And I think you guys get this franchise cornerstone in this draft or in the 2026 draft, which is also a good draft. One of these years, you're going to get your franchise cornerstone in the next 2 drafts. You just need to find out this year who are the pieces going forward that you can build around your franchise cornerstone that you're going to draft in this year's draft. But I think it's going to be Cooper Flag or Ace Bailey or if you get Dylan Harper, whoever.
Yeah. Or one of the Boozer twins. Yeah. It's
AJ Dabansa. But getting back to Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons has been making a lot of comments like I feel good, I'm healthy, I'm ready to prove people wrong, stuff like that. So I want to see it. I don't want to hear no more. I don't want to see no more jump shot videos, with Chris Brickley in the gym, you hitting everything. Everybody seems to make everything in that damn gym, bro. I'm not gonna lie. I'm like every time I watch videos, I'm like, damn, this brother's missing this gym? Like, what? Is that ball on coke? I'm like, I'm like, yo, no, I see nobody ever miss in that gym, yo. And it's not like they're cutting, editing the videos. It's straight raw video. Like they're not cutting the editing to eliminate the misses. I'm just like, this is all straightforward. You see all the makes. I'm like, does anybody miss in this gym? Did they put something in that ball? I'm like, yo. I'm like, Ben Simmons, you taking those jumpers, and I want to see you take, even if it's not threes, mid-range jumpers, something. Like, this is a contract here for him. He's going to try to play hard and get that, prove his value again so he can get that money. It's a contract here for him. He knows he needs to play if he wants to stay in the NBA. He knows.
Yeah, no.
If he doesn't play, his value's gone down the toilet these last couple of seasons. He's out the league. He's going to be playing in Australia. Or the NBL Boomers, whatever they're called.
Right? No.
The New Zealand Breakers.
Get ready to learn Chinese? Get ready to learn Chinese? No, I think, the Nets, I think if it's not the Wizards, the Nets are going to be the worst team in the NBA. I think that the Nets are a team that are very directionless, and they've been for a while, and that's the downside to mortgaging your future to winning now. Because if you don't win, then you've given up any upward
mobility. They traded away Mikal Bridges. They got their draft pick back. So I forgot to mention that. That's very important. I can't forget to mention that.
That is true. Yeah. That is true.
Yeah,
so but they're also a team that the stench of Joe Tsai as their owner. One of the worst owners in all sports.
It's been a roller coaster it's been drama the last couple of years.
Yeah. I look at it the same way I look at
Kyrie, James Harden, KD to now one of the worst teams in the league. Damn.
I look at it
like 2-3 years.
At the Knicks and with Jerry Jones out in Dallas with the Cowboys in football. Your owner is a reflection of your organization. And Joe Tsai is woefully incompetent, should not have a job, should be out there panhandling for pennies and dimes. I just don't like the guy. Like I'm gonna just be straight up. I don't like this.
His wife's a better owner than him. His wife's a better owner than him. She's doing a with Liberty.
Yeah, the Liberty are in the NBA.
No, his wife. He's like, why? He's like, honey, I need to learn from you. I don't have a talk.
He need to check in with and be like, how do you do it? Because clearly I don't know what the hell I'm doing. And if I'm a real right from Brooklyn, I gotta be pissed being like, wait a minute.
He needs to follow her blueprint.
Y'all displaced us. Y'all gentrified the hell out of all these different neighborhoods. Y'all bumped all these businesses out of here. So I can sit and watch this crappy basketball product over here at Barclays? Oh, nah.
I think it's about to be low this year. I didn't think it's about to be low this year.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to go to a game.
Like high-priced superstar comes in, maybe be a little higher. Other than that, ain't going to be.
Yeah, I'm going to come into town, man. I'll let you know. We can go to a Nets game for the cheap, for the low. But as a team-wise, like, they just, I don't know who is going to emerge, but I am high on Cam Thomas. I am high on Noah Clowney. I think he's an underrated player.
Claxton is rebounding machine.
Nick Claxton, yeah, I like Nick Claxton as well.
I think those are the guys for the foundation for the future. Those three guys, I feel like they'll be around.
I hope Dariq Whitehead can be that guy again as a Duke fan. But
I don't know. He's from that area around New York, I think. New York and New Jersey, something like that. So,
but like, I just don't know the rest of the team. Zaire Williams, maybe he can turn things around because he had a lot of really good potential coming out of college, but he didn't have an opportunity in Memphis. So maybe this is an opportunity for him to really step it up. But that team ain't going nowhere. That's really just the best way to put it. They ain't going nowhere. If something happens, it's a major surprise, but I'm picking them again. Bottom team. Worst team in the league.
Wave the flag. Wave the flag, bro. Let's wave the flag.
The towel! If he dies, he dies. No! Come on! They're done for.
It's clear. Easy. They missed the playoffs. They ain't making the playoffs.
Yeah. They're going, Cooper! Ace! They begging for one of those top prospects to come through.
Definitely. So they can bring fans into the seats next year.
Exactly. They need to put butts to seat, and that's not what they're doing this year. This gonna be a long year.
Oh yeah. So next we got the Atlanta Hawks, 36-46, 10th in the East. Drafted Zachary Rissiker, first overall from France. They drafted Nikola Dursic from Serbia. Added Dyson Daniels, Larry Nance from the DeJounte Murray trade, who they traded away. Can Jalen Johnson keep progressing his game? He had a breakout year last year, averaging 16 points, 8.7 rebounds, 3.6 assists per game. He basically had in his third year breakout season. I think he's going to be a really intricate part for this team this year if they want to contend for a playoff spot. Can they build a solid defense around their superstar Trae Young, 28th in points allowed last season? They're a great offensive team. They can put points on the board, but they give it back. They give it back on the other end very easily. They have some. Exactly. They have some guys on this team who can they. They have guys who could be a good defensive unit. They could buy in. Clint Capella's around him. Jalen Johnson, 6'8", 6'9" wing. Larry Nance has size at 6'10". You have some. Yeah, I know they have Kobe Buffkin there, 6'4" guard. He's a bucket getter who can get buckets. Like, you have some pieces there who, you guys have the talent. I think this team makes the play-in, bro. I think Trae Young. I know people hate on Trae Young. They're like, people have been hating on Trae Young, man, these last few years. I feel like he gets so much hate, like unwarranted hate. I think a little too much hate too. And you used to live in Georgia, so you should know.
I lived in Atlanta for 4 years, so I got to see a lot of Trae Young up close. And that's another player who, and I want the world to know, it's not just light-skinned players that I could say there was traces of my game in. But Trae Young was a player that if I had, no injuries and I'd kept progressing, like, that's another player who I played like a lot. So I'm very partial to his game. I like his game a lot. But I think, I don't know, and I really rock with Trae Young. I really do. We're the same exact. He's like literally a few months older than me. Same graduate.
Yeah, I forgot. Kongwu could defend the rim, all that.
Same graduating year. I don't know if you can win with him as your number one. I just don't know. Like, he's shown that he can make the playoffs, which is great. That's phenomenal. That's what you want your number one caliber player to do. I don't know if he can go all the way. I would love to see that, though, because I really rock with Trae Young. Like, that's my guy. It's one of my favorite players in the league. But I don't know, given his defense, his lack of defense, and his shot selection. He takes some terrible shots at times. Like, he can score when hot. When he's hot, he's on. But when he is off, he is off.
He thinks he's Steph Curry.
Yeah, and it's like, he said growing up his favorite player was Steve Nash. You brought up Steve Nash a little earlier. I don't know if they have the pieces around him so where he could be as effective as Steve Nash was in the early 2000s with the Suns. But if we are being technical, Steve Nash also didn't win anything either. So it kind of
wins more deeper playoff runs more consistently.
That is true. So I don't know.
Let's be real. If Steve Nash didn't have to go through Tim Duncan, Kobe Bryant, 2 top 10 players of all time.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Championship or two.
Right on championship. Yeah, no doubt. So that is something to contend with and consider. As far as the rest of the roster, I really love Onyeka Okongwu. I really like his game a lot. I think he's a player that having Clint Capella there, it's very counterproductive because
they both don't space the floor. They both don't
space the floor.
Are really offensively skilled. So that's like throwback 80s, 70s like type big man pairing right there.
It's like when the Pistons
that's not gonna work.
It's like when the Pistons had Drummond and Greg Monroe playing next to each other. It's just their play styles interlock and crash too much. So I think the biggest key is going to be them really giving the green light to Okongwu and saying, hey, you're the young guy. Let's see what you got. Let's see how you produce. I really love Jalen Johnson. He's one of my favorite young.
That boy can get up, man.
I'm not gonna lie. He kind of was a letdown in college because I felt like, he quit on the team, and I felt like he didn't show his body language was poor, but I don't know what, like, he got to the pros and he just really locked in. So I credit to him. I'm glad that he has changed the trajectory of his career because it was never a concern about talent. It was about his mentality. And I think his star is continuing to rise. And I think he can be a great number 2. And maybe it becomes a situation where Trey is the number 1 player by as far as like name wise, but like the ball goes through Jalen. Maybe that's how they find their way to become successful. With Zachary,
you tell me Jalen can be a go-to guy.
I think so. Like Trey is the go-to guy.
I want to see that shot off the dribble.
Exactly. That's what he has to improve. But I think he's got the talent for it. You know what I'm saying? He's got versatility in his game. He plays at his own pace. I always love players who can play at their own pace. With how do you pronounce his last name? Risacher. Zachary Risacher. He had a couple of games in the summer league that I watched, and I actually was like, I was moderately impressed. I was like, okay, you know what? He's not a guy who's going to be a number 1 face of the franchise, but he could be a great number 2, number 3 if he puts it all together right. Which it's tough. It's like you draft the number 1 overall pick to be a franchise world-breaking talent. You obviously, if the Falcons, if the Hawks could do things over, they would have tried to get the number 1 pick this upcoming year or the year later. But fate had it; they had the number 1 pick. But I think overall, Atlanta is such a tough team because if you had asked me in 2021 when they made that Eastern Conference run, I was very high on them being a team that could like start climbing that pantheon within the NBA. But they have just fizzled at this just mid-level. And it's almost like they seem content with it, being a 6 to a play-in seed team, competitive, but you're not threatening anybody. Nobody's going, oh God, we're playing the Hawks. Whoa. You know?
The middle is not where you want to be in the NBA. You either want to be contending for a title or you want to be one of the bad teams so you get one of the top picks and the top talents coming.
Exactly. So
you don't want to be in the
I think they'll make the playoffs, but I think again they're in that 6 to 7 range.
I think they'll make the playoffs, get bounced down the first round.
Yeah. And they seem the problem is they seem too content with that. You know, they got Bogdanovich as well, who's always been a player that I liked. He's a good spacer, crafty player. I don't know when DeAndre Hunter is going to take that leap. I feel like he's actually
hasn't taken that leap that we expected.
No, I mean, to be honest though, I never saw him being that kind of player though. I always saw him as being a complimentary guy. You know,
but I thought he'd be better like defensively as a all near like defensive type guy. I never expected him to be like a go-to scorer or anything like that.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
I thought he'd be a little better by now.
I actually met him like a little bit before I left Atlanta, and very got a good head on his shoulders, very down to earth guy. But I just need to see him play with more of a mean streak. I feel like if he unlocked that part of his game, he actually would be really, really nice because he's got a nice looking jump shot. He's a better ball handler than he's given credit for. But there's nothing wrong with being a great guy off the court. I absolutely applaud that. But like on the court, all that nice stuff, get it out of here. You got to be a dog, and they need that. So yeah, Atlanta's a team where I don't see them doing anything, but they're good enough to make the playoffs. 6, 7 seed.
Yeah, I see them making the playoffs, but bounce out in the first round. That's what I see.
Yeah, that's what I see too.
So the next team, who we have next? So the Hogs. So we have the Bulls next, 39-43, 9th in the East. Zach LaVine, when will he get traded? When or will he get traded? They acquired Josh Giddey, Chris Duarte, Jalen Smith. They drafted the praying mantis, Matis Bazelis. Hope I said his name right. They traded DeMar DeRozan to Sacramento. That's going to be a big L for them. They lost Alex Caruso, another big loss for them, who's on the Thunder now. Andre Drummond as well is now in the Sixers. This is a team I just don't see them doing much. This is one of those teams I have a clear cut missing the playoffs, just like the Brooklyn Nets. I don't see this team really doing anything this season. I know Kobe White's there. He's a beast. I want to see how he continues to progress his game. He could have won Sixth Man of the Year last year. The dude can ball, man. I remember watching him in North Carolina. That dude can get buckets. He is a professional hooper, scorer.
Bucket.
Yeah, I want to continue to see him progress his game. Zach LaVine, I don't know how he's going to play. I know there's a lot of rumors these last couple of years, him getting traded and all that. He doesn't fit the timeline of the team. I don't know how that's going to affect him mentally and psychologically as the season progresses. Especially, yeah. I know he's probably just going to ball out, try to get 50. But at the same time, I don't think it's going to be conducive to winning. And I just don't see the Bulls really making any noise in the East. I think they're going to be in the Cooper Flag, Ace Bailey, all those top sweepscapes as well. I think the teams at the bottom of the East are going to be like the Wizards, the Nets, and Bulls. Those are the three teams that have clear cut not making the playoffs.
I see that too. I think, my guy, they got my boy Zoe back, and he's looked really good in preseason.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. They got my boy Lonzo back, playing healthy. It's bittersweet because they were a team that if he had been healthy 2 years ago, where they were on the way to, I think they would have made a finals appearance. They could have.
You think they would have made the finals?
They were the number one. They were the number one team in the East before Lonzo went down. People forget that.
You think they would have beat the Celtics, your Celtics, or the Bucks or something?
I don't think it would have been impossible. With the way that they were playing, they were playing.
Like MVP conversation a few years ago in 2021, 22 that year.
Yeah. Zach was playing out of his mind. Like, I just don't think like there's much joy in Chicago right now. The only joy as a player that I see out there is Kobe White. I mean, obviously, and Zoe. Like Zoe has been trying to get back because he's had the injuries. But like as far as an active player, just all I see is Kobe White. I love Zach LaVine as a player. I got a funny story that I'll tell you after when we get off show about.
He's more of a good stats, bad team guy. Zach LaVine. He doesn't.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, right? I've been a big Zach fan since he was at
UCLA.
Since he was at UCLA. Yeah, I love his game. I love guys who are bucket getters, play with a cocky edge. Like I love players like that. They're some of my favorite players. And he's a big Kobe guy. I'm a big Kobe guy too. So it's like I gotta respect it. Number 8, high flyer, amazing in the slam dunk contest. It's been an all-star. Has had multiple all-star years prior to even the years that he got selected. And I think if like that Minnesota team with him, Wiggins, and Towns, I used to run with them in 2K all the time. So like I've always been very high on Zach as a player. But yeah, he is a bit of an empty calorie, high stat, bad team kind of guy. But yeah, I just don't see them really do anything. Kobe White, I think, is going to continue to progress. And if I'm the Bulls, you see what Lonzo can do. I believe he's in his last year of his contract, and you either decide to re-sign him or not. And if not, I think he'll be able to fit on just about any team with his play style. You know what I'm saying? He's got a play style that fits with just about any organization. And I think you see what Kobe White can do as a number one guy. Obviously, Zach is going to be the de facto number one, but you also watch to see what he can do. I've given up on the hope that Patrick Williams is going to become anything more than a solid.
People thought he was going to be Kawhi Leonard. I'm dead. You know they gave him a contract extension. They gave him the extension, and he hasn't proven anything.
No,
why would you give him the extension? The brother hasn't proven he can be like a franchise cornerstone.
Yeah, he's just a solid.
Yeah, solid player, but he's not going to be like a guy who could be your top 2 option on a winning team.
Yeah, he's just not a guy that I see. I don't see that. You know, I think seems like a very humble kid. You know what I'm saying? Very down to earth guy. I know people who came up with him in North Carolina. Great. They say he's a great kid, but you know, as a player, he just hasn't shown anything that he was worth that high of a pick. It was a reach, in my opinion. It was a ultimate boomer bust. I saw someone compare him to Marvin Williams, which I think isn't a bad comparison as far as like a player that got reached for that has intangibles. You can see intangibles there: size, athleticism, ball handling, defense. But putting it all together, when you're a master of none, it's like, like what are you doing? But yeah, I just don't see them doing anything. I think they're also in the sweepstakes for a top pick this year. I hope Lonzo balls out though. I really mostly am rooting for Lonzo to do well.
Yeah. Damn. So the teams I have missing the playoffs are the Raptors. I had the Bulls, Wizards, Nets. Those 4. Damn. Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah. I feel like the team that's the best of those. You think the Raptors or Bulls? You have the Raptors making the playoffs. So you have the Raptors as a better team. Yeah.
I don't see way better team. Way better team.
Yeah. I'm trying
the fact that they made
I know 10 teams playing. So I'm like, I have 4 right now. So I feel like I'm missing one. I might have to change one team and be like, oh, I don't know about this team anymore making the play-in.
I can tell you, them Bulls ain't going anywhere. Every Chicago, I know a lot because I got a lot of people who are from Chicago who are connected to Chicago. So I'm around a lot of Chicago sports fans. None of them are high.
I might have to change my pick on the Pistons, man. Making the play-in. I don't know. Yeah, I might have to change that. Because I'm thinking of it now. I'm like, 10 teams make the playoffs, play-in. I have 4 right now that I already had. I'm like, wait, I'm missing one more. And the teams I have coming up, I don't see any of them missing the playoffs or anything. So, yeah, I might have to change my thought. I might have the Pistons missing the playoffs. I think they'll just miss the play-in. Yeah, I think they'll be in that 11 to 13 range. Yeah, so I have Pistons, Nets, Bulls, Wizards, Raptors missing the playoffs and play-in. So I have my 5. All the other teams I see making it. So, all right. So the next team we got Miami Heat. Miami, they got the palm trees and everything. 8th. They were 8th in the East last year, 46-36. Contract year for Jimmy Butler, man. Pat Riley ain't playing games. He said you need to take things serious now. He didn't give him the extension. He said, Jimmy, I'm tired of you coming with your hair looking permed like that, with the makeup. He said, I'm tired of that crap. You barely played any games last year. And basically, he was so serious at media day. Bro ain't played no game the last 2 years before, last year and the year before. Came in with some wicked stuff. I'm like, yo, what is this brother on?
Yeah. He was on.
He's all business this year. This Jimmy is beyond to be scared of. If I'm a NBA opponent. Hopkins, great rookie year. Can he continue to build on that? Because he had a 6'9", 6'10" point forward who could create offense, not just for himself, for others. High playmaker. He's a high playmaker. One of my friends, Joseph, he's one of the biggest Heat fans I know. Really high on Jaime Hopkins. He thinks he can be an All-Star one day. He's really high on him.
I think so. I think he could be too. He's got enough of a versatile skill set that he could.
Yeah. They drafted Kelly Ware, 7-footer, really athletic, and shoot the ball. I think he's going to be great in that Heat organization system, the way they develop players and how hard they work. I think that's going to be great for him. I don't think it's going to be an impact right away. I think because he needs to fill out his frame, continue to learn an NBA game and fundamentals, defensive principles. I think by year 3 or 4, once he has time to fill out his frame, him with Bam in that front court, it's going to be scary because he's 7'1", 7'2" with long arms, and he can shoot. That's what he wanted in a prototypical big man nowadays. I think he could be the steal from this draft. They re-signed Alex Burks, Thomas Bryant. Alex Burks is a professional scorer off the bench, good role player, solid rotation.
Yeah, I like that. I always like Alex Burks. He's a good veteran.
Thomas Bryant gives him size. He's kind of undersized big a little bit. He's like 6'9".
Rochester legend right there too.
Yeah. That's what I was gonna say.
Real brief, but I saw him my first weekend. I was out here. I saw him out.
And so it's all Thomas Bryant?
He almost got in a fight with the bouncer at the club I went to. I was gonna chop it up with him, but he ended up not even going inside.
Oh,
and me and the guy on the line were like, "Is that Thomas Bryant?" And he's like, "Yeah." I was like,
"He's huge, man. Yeah,
he's huge, big guy,
bro."
Yeah, he's like built, like he's a small guy. He ain't a big guy. So like I was like, shoot, the bouncer lucky that he got held back by like 3 people because it would have been over. It would have been clipped.
Oh man.
Long kiss, good night. Wow. You know what I'm saying? So
good night, like Steph Curry said.
yeah. But no, with the Heat,
he had injuries issues last year. Can get more ingrained with the Heat culture, and I want to see Bam Adebayo. Okay, take another leap offensively. I know you've been last year. I think he probably had the best year of his career. But we come from that experience. Some of the players that come back having the best years of their career. We saw with D Wade in 08, had a career year in 08, 09. He could have won MVP, and LeBron took it. But LeBron went on to win the MVP, first of his career at that 08 Olympics. Kobe went on to win the championship, the first of back-to-back, after the 08 Olympics, and 09 and 2010. So I just want to see, what does this do for Bam? Because I don't know if he'll never be a number one option on a championship winning team, but I think he could be a number 2. I think he could be a number 2.
Yeah, I think the Heat have to figure out, because I didn't watch it, but I saw a clip of Gil's Arena, and they were saying, should Jimmy leave Miami? And it's crazy to think about, but Jimmy hasn't been in Miami that long, but this is the longest that we've seen Jimmy on a team since the Bulls. He's bounced from kind of several teams, but he's kind of become a mainstay with the Heat. And I work currently at my job right now. There's a lot of people who are Heat fans. I don't know why. I don't know how. In Rochester, of all places, I've met more Heat fans at my job than Knicks fans. But for whatever reason, whatever sick, twisted reason, I work with a ton of Heat fans, man. It's wild. But and I know a lot of Heat fans just in general, because I got a lot of connections to Florida. But Jimmy has to take the regular season more seriously. The Heat almost missed the playoffs last year. People forget that. They were on the verge.
Yeah.
And
very close.
They were very close. And they are one of the most well-ran organizations. They have arguably the best player development front office in the league. But they need to stop playing around and treating the regular season like it's nothing. Because for a team who hasn't won a championship in over 11 years, they move like they've been a team that's been winning championships. It's like, no, y'all have not. You made it to a finals twice.
Once in this decade, but you didn't win.
You didn't win. So what good is making it to the finals if you can't finish? And I always have to hear, oh, playoff Jimmy. Yes, playoff Jimmy is a great, phenomenal player, but can he do it? Can he actually put together a chance?
Games. Can he play 65 games?
Because if he plays more games than 65 and doesn't kind of breeze through it, they get higher seeding, which gives them home court advantage. And that is
they could get a little more rest. You got to think that way. They don't
exactly, but
regular season.
These Heat fans, it don't matter. We got Jimmy. He's a dog. Like no, but he's not right. Like let's pump the brakes. This is not the big 3 years, and this ain't even the Alonzo Mourning, Tim Hardaway, Jamal Mashburn Heat. Like this is a version of the Heat that are very good, and they are one of the better organizations in the entire NBA. And when push comes to shove, they can be one of the best teams in the league. But they are their own worst enemy because they don't take the regular season seriously enough. So, and I just don't know if they have that number one on the roster once Jimmy does, because Jimmy also is older. People forget that as well. Jimmy is approaching his late 30s now. And he as a player has a lot of wear and tear on his body, just as with his play style and for as long as he's been in the league. So I don't know if I don't think either Tyler Hero or Bam Adebayo is that number one guy. I don't think Jaime Jaquez is either. I think they're all great complementary players. Them finding that number one player to build the franchise around once Jimmy does retire or move on, if he doesn't play well, is going to be key. But they're not. The Heat are never going to be bad enough to get a top pick. It's going to, they're very shrewd in utilizing different trades and finding guys that nobody has ever heard of from LA Fitness Open Gym that turn
guys and stuff and make them a good rotational piece. I'm like, yo, I've only seen like the Spurs and when they're at their apex do that.
Yeah. No, that's very much they're like that. But they need to be disciplined, and that's been their issue, is that they haven't been disciplined, and they've also had injuries too. Duncan Robinson has to be more consistent. So yeah, just as a team, they're a top 4 team in the East, and I would say they're knocking on number 3. But it's all about, do they take the regular season seriously, and do they? Because if they do,
yeah. I think this team. Ooh, this is tough. The East. I think the East is top heavy. You said top 3.
I said they're top 4.
Top 4? Okay.
Yeah, they're top 4.
I think they'll be a top 5, 6-ish team. I think they'll be those teams who get into the playoffs and they don't have to worry about the play-in. I think they'll be that type of team this season.
Yeah, and that's what they need to strive for, because they have been playing things a little too close for comfort and thinking that it's sweet out here, and it's like, it's not. Y'all are not
a little sour taste lately. They be getting punched in the mouth.
Yeah, it's like y'all are not a good enough team to get away with not taking.
You ain't the KD Warriors. You ain't the KD Warriors.
No,
not even close. So yeah, so we both have the Heat being like a top 5 team in the East this year. So we have to make them playoffs. All right, next we got the Philadelphia 76ers, man. One of the teams that made a lot of noise this offseason. 47-35, they finished 7th in the East last year. I was kind of shocked when I saw that. I was like, oh, they finished kind of low. But then again, we forgot Embiid got hurt. So that's why. So they signed Paul George, who left the Clippers, signed with the Sixers. They form a big 3 now with him, Maxey, and Embiid. They signed Tyrese Maxey to a 5-year, $24 million extension. Signed Andre Drummond and Kelly Oubre. Question really is can they get over the hump? Can Paul George and Embiid stay healthy? That's the real main question coming into this year. Now you guys basically, you're betting on yourself. You signed Paul George, who's going to be your 3rd option, which is kind of surprising. I thought they'll have him as the 2nd option, Maxey. But Maxey's progression, he's really trusted to be Tyrese is that
Tyrese
dude.
Is the real.
He's your 2nd option. He proved it in the playoffs against the Knicks when he hit that crazy shot. I'm like, this guy is real. When he was in high school in Kentucky, I knew he'd be good, but I didn't think he'd be this good. And now Paul George.
I didn't either.
Now Paul George, you add him to the fray, a guy who can get you 25 to 30 a game. I know he's had his injury issues, but now you guys are pretty much betting yourself, putting the pressure on. It's time to win a championship. It's time to get past the 2nd round at least. Make to the conference finals or make a finals run. Anything less than a conference finals this year is a disappointment. Anything less than a conference finals. I'm not going to say NBA finals because they haven't even got past the 2nd round. If you had at least a conference finals this year, would be a successful season. And Paul George, you know, there was a recent report Embiid's not going to play back-to-backs anymore, probably for the rest of his career. So I want to see how that turns out. I need to look. I haven't looked at their schedule. I don't know how many back-to-backs they're playing. But damn, Embiid, I hope that doesn't come back to bite you guys, because
Embiid ain't playing back-to-backs, and Paul George is already hurt. So
yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like damn, no, can the season start already before you do that? It's like damn. If I'm Tyrese Maxey, I'm looking around like, damn, I'm in an infirmary right now. These boys can't stay healthy. Like, I'm alone, bro. Give me some help. It's like I gotta deal with this every day.
No. I think
Squale. Like, damn, son. Like, bro, where my backup at?
I heard that in a while.
I'm like Cameron type stuff, man.
No, like Cameron Jewels. No, but like real, like I think Philly is a team who I have them at the number 3 seed. But they're a team that on paper, they look great. But on paper doesn't guarantee you a championship. On paper doesn't guarantee you
a lot throughout sports history, man. Not even just basketball. Throughout sports. Yeah. Paper talent can look great, but when you go on that field or court, it's a totally different game which you have to actually do it.
Totally different ball game. I just drafted Joel Embiid in my fantasy basketball league. So I need him to stay. I do.
Oh, okay. I did that last year with Phil. Fantasy basketball is hard, man, because there's games every night. It's harder than football.
I know. Like football, you can kind of like get away.
It's easier.
But that actually reminds me. I'm like, let me look at how my fantasy team doing real quick. But but all seriousness though, when it comes to them as a team, I got. Oh, I started Zach Charbonnet instead of Kyron Williams. No.
It's fantasy football.
Oh my gosh. Oh, I'm sick. I'm sick to my stomach. But all seriousness aside, I mean, all jokes aside, I think that Philly is a team that is not able. It will all come down to health, and it will come down to their mental fortitude because they fold. They are a team that folds, and I'm not just like talking crap because I enjoy talking about Philly sports, but like even other Philly fans I talk to be like, yeah, like it's mental. It's all up here. And I used to say the same thing with my Celtics. Like they're their own worst enemy. And that's where Philly, they've been in that range of like a team that's good enough to win a finals and good enough to compete, but can't get out their own way. And they fold at the worst opportune times. I think Tyrese Maxey is the future of that team. And is by all accounts, I think he's going to be one of the best young players in the league just in general. Like, I think he's got that.
I think he already is. He's in the conversation. He's not on the tier or Wemby or any of that, but he's like the tier below, like tier 2 tier.
Yeah. His ceiling is incredibly high. We don't even know how great he can become. But this team it's an older team. They have more veterans than they have younger guys. So they're betting everything on this year.
Right now, not thinking of we need a win. It's go time.
Right now. And they're a team that I can't think of. There's very few sports organizations that I can think of currently that need an NBA, that need a title more than this team. But do they get it? I don't see it. And I'm not just saying that because I'm a Celtics fan, but
I don't see them coming out the East. I already made my picks on who I got coming out the East and West. So
they can't beat the Celtics, and I think the Knicks are a better team than them. So that's why I say Philly's at that number 3 spot. They could go up or they could be worse. It just all depends on how they produce. They've got a great team on paper. A guy who they picked up that I've always been high on is KJ Martin, Kenyon's son. I like him a lot. I think he's a good pick and roll, high flying lob threat, and he's got an underrated jump shot. I don't know what plans they have for him, but I'm excited to see.
I know they still have Kyle Lowry on their roster, that old gritty Redvin.
Hey, they still got
not what he used to be. He's over the hill at this point, but it's like
over the hill.
Yeah,
but he could be. I know he's a good locker room presence. Evan Gordon is still a good shooter off the bench. Kelly Oubre is a great scorer off the bench / in a supporting role.
He's basically gonna be like they're Tobias Harris now. They're Tobias Harris.
Yeah, that's a perfect comparison. Jared McCain, I think he does some goofy stuff, but as a player, I think I
actually think recovery. I know he just collapsed his lung recently on that play.
Yeah. It's unfortunate. You know, it doesn't at the end of the day, it doesn't seem like a bad kid. He just has to focus on like being a day one producer. That's what they're not looking at him to be the running mate to Tyrese or look to even be a point. Like just be a good player off the bench that when called upon, you're ready, you play smart basketball. They picked up now actually an underrated pickup that they had. And he played for the last team we just talked about, but Caleb Martin. I like that pickup a lot because I feel like Caleb plays with he plays with that edge, that nastiness.
Remember that game against he looked like Kawhi Leonard, bro? I was like, yo, he was locking Tatum's ass up. And every jam jumper. I'm like, is this MJ disguised as Caleb Martin? Like, who is this dude balling out right now, man?
No, he's
balling in 2023, man.
He's capable of having some big games, but he's also a player that is a bit of an enforcer from his position. So I think that Philly needs that. Philly as a city is a tough, gritty city. You know what I'm saying? They booed Santa Claus. They cheer when players get injured. Like it's a different breed out in Philly. You know what I'm saying? My favorite hooper of all time, Allen Iverson, right? Allen Iverson came out of that environment, but he's beloved. He's looked at as a god. So Philly is just a team that you need those hard-nosed players that don't care about the flash, don't care about the pizzazz. They just want to win. And I think Caleb Martin could be an X factor for them, but he's Caleb Martin. He's not a superstar. He's not so everything. The stars have to produce. Embiid has to stay as healthy as possible and still play at a dominant level. He can't have these moments where he's hot and cold, kind of energy off. Paul George has to stay healthy. And Tyrese just has to continue doing what he's been doing. But number 3 seed. I don't see them going to the finals, but who knows? But number 3 seed is where I have them.
I have them a top. I'm gonna say top 4 seed. Yeah, I Philly in the top 4. So yeah, okay. I think I'm gonna put Philly if I had. Man, it's between. I don't know if they're gonna be. It's like between them or the Knicks. Who I have a 3rd seed? I don't know, bro. I don't know. So I think the top 4, in my opinion, is gonna be the Celtics, Bucks, Sixers, and
I was about to say you got the Bucks.
I think it might be that order. I think I might have the Sixers ahead of the Knicks if they can stay healthy, though. That's if. Ooh. If not, I have the Knicks ahead. But yeah, I think so. Okay. So we both got Philly really high. We got high expectations for Philly coming into the year.
Got you. They're too talented. They have too much on paper talent not to be nice.
Oh yeah. So next we got the team that had one of the best offenses in the league last year, Indiana Pacers, 47-35, 6th in the East last year. Coming off a surprising Eastern Conference Finals run. I know they dealt with a Bucks team, though. Had injuries. Yeah, very surprising. They traded for Pascal Siakam last season, but now they have a full year with him this year, full training camp. I want to see how him and Halliburton continue to grow their chemistry, especially in that pick and pop game. Halliburton is, in my opinion, maybe not the best passer in the league because we got Jokic, but I think he might be the 2nd best passer in the league. The way he initiates the offense, how he makes his teammates' lives better, he sets them up. The ball placement, he gets the ball for his guys in their shot pocket is one of the best I've seen. Like, this dude might be the modern day John Stockton. He might be a supersized John Stockton. You see the assists he be averaging? Bro, he gets double. Yo, assist parlay, Halliburton, over. Over. That dude is a initiator golden package, bro. That dude knows how to create for his teammates, bro. I see his assist numbers. I'm like, I haven't seen these assist numbers since like prime Steve Nash, Jason Kidd, bro. I'm like,
that's true.
Or Chris Paul. Let me not forget Chris Paul. Yeah, this dude is an initiator, and he's also a bucket getter. He can get you 20 a game. It's not like he's a liability offensively. He can shoot the ball. His shot is a bit unorthodox, not what you usually see. He makes it. He makes it.
It works.
All that matters. As long as it goes in, I don't care. As long as it goes in, more than it misses, that's all I care about. They signed Andrew Nembhard, the young player who was scratching in the playoffs last year, big time for them last year. That's a good re-sign for them. TJ McConnell as well, great veteran, gritty. He does the little dirty things. He's not going to lie you. He's 6'2", small guy. He's not a superstar by any means, but he's a guy you want on a winning team, especially a playoff veteran. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Benedict Mathurin dealt with injuries last year, torn labrum surgery. Him coming back, I think is going to be huge. His rookie year, he was like the 3rd best rookie his year, 2022, behind J-Dub. I think that draft class in Paulo. I think he was the 3rd best rookie. He was balling his rookie year. He was balling. Yeah. If he could get back to what he was his rookie year, but take that up a little bit, like get more efficient.
Yeah, more efficient. He'll be set.
Now he doesn't have to be like that second scorer. They have Siakam now. Siakam's probably going to be the number 1. Halliburton will be number 2. If he could be that consistent 3rd scorer for them and be like a lockdown defender who could guard one of the top guards on the opposing team, this team could be dangerous. Now, the question about them, their offense is not a question because they were 3rd in offensive rating last year, only behind your Celtics and the Thunder. The defense is the question.
Defense is
they can score a lot of points, but like a team we mentioned with earlier, I think it was – I forgot what team we mentioned earlier that they score a lot of points, but defensively, they allowed the other team to score right back, like it's nothing.
Oh,
was it? I don't think it was the Hornets. It was the Hawks. Yes, yeah. They score. They could get buckets, but they give it right back. That's
They're
why.
Right back. Here you go.
If they want to be a title contending team, they have to button up their defense.
Big time.
This team has talent. I'm not saying they're going to go to the finals, but this team could be if they take this next step, if Halliburton and Siakam can get their chemistry even better, and Benedict Mathurin could become that lockdown 3-and-D player I think he can become, because he can create off the dribble too. He's not just a guy who's a spot up. Like, he's athletic. He can go and dunk on your head. Like this, I remember him in Arizona. He was getting a little bit of poor man's Donovan Mitchell comparisons. Like, dude, and he can get up. He can just stand still, shoot. Like, he can go to the rim, attack. Yeah. So I want to see what they do.
He's 6'6".
Yeah, so that's he's 6'6", I think.
Yeah. To the point about the Pacers, I think that they are a team that have a lot of young guys that are very, they know their role and they embrace the culture there a lot. You know what I'm saying? Guys like Isaiah Jackson, guys like is Jalen what's his name? Not Jalen Smith. Yeah, is he still on the team?
No, I think he's on a different team now.
That was a big loss. I was very high on him. But Nesmith, who was a Boston Celtic, we drafted him first. Nembhard, obviously, Ben Shepherd as well. They're all good role players. But then Obi Toppin. You know what I'm saying? I feel like Obi Toppin has found a
they
good
traded
home for
him. I said that's lobs all day for Halliburton.
Yeah,
I'm Obi Toppin. If I'm in the East, I want to play with LaMelo or Halliburton because I'm getting that ball in the air all day. And when I'm running in transition field in the lane, that's a lob to me.
Yeah.
See, he be doing between the leg dunks in games. I'm like, this guy is what? Like, it's nothing.
Yeah, it's crazy what
he can do. He's done it multiple times.
It is crazy what he can do. I think that Miles Turner is still a good vet. Is still a good player, but he has to be way more consistent because statistically, like, his numbers.
When he was younger, man, I thought he was going to be a potential all-star one day. I did too. I thought he had some AD vibes to him.
Yeah, and he's just like, he's a good player.
He had that growth spurt like AD coming out of high school. He was growing into his body. Yeah, it was giving me some AD vibes.
I've campaigned for the Celtics a couple times to trade for him, but I feel like his name is always being thrown into the trade talk, trade rumors.
He's not as athletic as AD though, because AD could get up and get lobs, especially when he was younger. Miles Turner was never like that.
And he's a good defender, but he gets dunked on plenty.
Yeah, he does. Yeah,
he does. That's
going to happen when you're a shot blocker, protecting the rim. It's going to happen sometimes. Playing against the best in the
world. No, but it's like you need, in big moments, you need, that guy to get that stop.
You strike fair to your opponent.
And I don't know if players are like, "Who, Miles is in the paint. Let me be smart about how I go get this shot." I don't think they really feel. So the Pacers are a team that are very fun to watch, very exciting, but it all comes back to defense. Also, Halliburton did have some I love his game too. That's another player who, if I was 6'5", that's probably where I'd be a lot as a player as far as
he's bigger than 6'5". I think he's 6'7" point guard, bro.
But either way, like that kind of like him and LaMelo are players that also, like, if I grew to that height, those would be kind of players that I probably would have modeled my game. Now, jump shot wise, like, I had a bit of an unorthodox jumper at one point in life, but like you can't. It's not sustainable, But with Halliburton, I think Halliburton is a tremendous talent. I'm very high on him, but he also has to play better.
I want to see more of a killer instinct in him when his team needs a bucket down the stretch. Like in the playoffs, we saw some. I'm like, yo, I want to kind of see you take over, man. You're the man of the team, bro. You're the guy. A little too passive. Yeah, a little too passive.
Yeah, a little too passive. But I'm very high on this.
But your team needs a bucket right now.
Yeah, team needs a bucket. You are the guy. Like I
know Siakam's an all-star player, but you're really the franchise.
Yeah, I was about to say, I know you said Siakam's the number one, but I really think it's Tyrese, and that's the only way. That's the only way they're gonna achieve their maximum level of greatness is if Tyrese is playing at a high level. So, because I mean, Pascal's a great player, but he showed in 2020 and showed in 2021. He is a two. You're not winning big time basketball with him as a number one, and he is not effective. Like when the defense is game planning for him specifically, he's not the same player versus, oh, we got this other guy, but you also have to worry about him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I think overall, the Pacers are going to be a very exciting team. But because I'm unsure about their defense and I'm unsure about and I think that a healthy Bucks team is a scary team. I'm saying that the Pacers are going to be in the 5 to 6 range, pushing 4 if their defense.
I have them in the 5-6 range.
If their defense can take a step and they get big stops and they're consistent, then that could be. I think they could be a top 4 seed. I think they could bump Miami if Miami falls off this year, but a healthy Bucks team, I think, is a very scary team.
I think I have Miami. No, I have Miami 6 or 7. Actually, I think the Pacers. They're between that 5 to 7 range for me. 5-7. 5 to 7.
Okay.
Because this next team we have coming up, I'm pretty high on coming into the year, so I just want to say that. Yeah. So, all right. So we have the Pacers making the playoffs for sure. The next team we have is the Orlando Magic, 47-35, 5th in the East last year. I'm very high on this team. Very high on this team.
I forgot about them.
Yeah.
Great team.
Coming off a great run in the postseason last year, off a 7-game series, losing to Cleveland. I thought they could have beat Cleveland. That would have shocked everybody. Can they continue building off that? They signed Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, a big pickup for them. I think this is going to help them tremendously. They struggled shooting, man. They could not space the floor last year. This guy is an ultimate 3-and-D player right here who has championship pedigree and experience. He's won championships. He's one of the best shooters in the league. Paolo took another leap last year into an all-star in year 2. Gave you basically 22, 7, and 5, and 45% from the field, and 34% from 3. Can he take another leap, though, into All-NBA MVP level stratosphere? And can he become more consistent from 3, more efficient? That's the next step for Paolo. Will Franz Wagner find the shot again from the outside? He shot 28% from 3 last year. The season before that, he was shooting 35% and over. Like, this guy was pretty much a solid knockdown shooter. Can he get back to that? Because he seemed to have lost his confidence in the playoffs. He pretty much, I think he cost him that series. Him not being able to hit an outside shot. I don't know what happened to him last year, but if he could have hit his outside shot, I think they win that series. There was so much pressure on Paolo to initiate the offense as a 6'10" big. I think almost too much. They were relying on him too much. And that caused him to get tired, make some careless turnovers because he was fatigued. Anthony Black, you're a second-year player. You're the 6'7", 6'8" point guard. I want to see you be more comfortable in your role now. Be that lead initiator. You're the point guard of the team. Cole Anthony, you too. Jalen Suggs. You guys are the guards. I want to see you take that initiative to be the playmakers. Take the pressure off Paul, not to create so much for others so he could go to work and have more energy down the stretch. So that's what I want to see. Because the fatigue I saw in the playoff series, he had some turnovers due to fatigue because he was carrying so much offensive load, and I want to see how they progress in that. But yeah, I honestly, man, Magic, I got them top 5 in the East.
Top 5?
Like last year. They were 5th in the East last year. I think if Paolo really takes that leap, bro, this team could be pushing for a 4th seed. They got Caldwell-Pope now. I want to see the spacing. I think they'll have better spacing now. Wagner, if he gets a shot back, this team is really talented, bro. Wendell Carter Jr. as well. Got size down there. Can shoot the 3 ball.
I'm actually like, dang. Now I think about
you messed up.
Ooh, they do. I'm over here like, well, they are a team that I'm very high on.
Bro. Everybody in Florida, they always think about the Miami Heat. Just never forget, there's a team down in Orlando.
Okay, this is a hot take, but if Miami goes out there and lollygags it this year, I think Orlando could absolutely be the best team in Florida. I think they're in that 5 to 6 range. I think they're here to stay, but I think they could push for more. I'm very high on Paolo. I actually think, like, if you want to talk about player who has shades of LeBron in his game, it doesn't get talked about enough. But I think Paolo has a lot of LeBron to his game.
You think so? I think he's more Carmelo Anthony.
I think he's a fusion of that. I think he's more of an offensive, like, he's more offensively skilled, but when he puts his head down and when he's just got the, like, being on ball, it reminds me a lot of LeBron, his first run.
And the way he bullies people down low is like Melo and LeBron.
It's like that is like Melo, yeah. I think he's like a combo of both those guys, which is incredibly scary.
His playmaking is better than Melo, so I can see where you get the LeBron from.
Yeah, I don't think we've seen the best. I don't even think we've seen close to the best from Powell. I actually think, honestly, like, all the hype that Wemby and some of these other guys has generated, I think there needs to be more.
Like, Paolo to me is one of the most underrated first overall picks I've ever seen, and the dude is a stud.
Ever, because he's super quiet. Like, he's a super quiet guy, and, like, even like he's got a very, like, expression, just very. But he goes out there and balls. He had a great playoff. Yeah. Like, for someone in his first playoff, I was very impressed with what I saw after playoffs.
I was like, this guy could be. I said, I watched him since high school. I said, this guy could be an MVP of the league one day, bro. He can win an MVP.
He's got number one player potential.
Best young players in the league. This guy is in that top 5.
I'm like, why is he
first talent one day?
But the Magic, the only thing with them, they have built their team well in the draft. They have, but they need to figure out who is your number one point guard, because you have 3 guys, and don't forget my guy Markelle Fultz. Also,
they don't have Markelle Fultz.
He's not.
No, he's not. He's not there. No, I don't think they didn't resign. I think he's still free. He's still free.
Oh. Yeah. Okay, well, wow.
But they still have a lot of guards, though. Still a lot of guards.
Yeah. They've drafted a point guard. They drafted a point guard in at least like 3 or 4 consecutive drafts. Not including Powell and Franz. So I think as a team, the Caldwell Pope addition was a good one. You still got veterans like Gary Harris there.
I like the stronger. He already put on a lot of muscle this offseason.
I ain't worried about that, man. I mean, the fact that, look,
he's a defensive guy. He's one of the best defenders in the league, man.
He is. He's a great defender. That's really about all he can do.
Yeah, the injuries messed him up offensively. All the injuries messed him up, because he was really good coming in college. He had potential, but
he's more concerned about getting his political grift on than pooping, honestly. But, I think he is a great perimeter defender, but I don't rock with the fact that they let that dude wear number 1. I'm sorry. I'm not.
Yeah, Penny Hardaway. The dude ain't even a star to be doing that. You ain't even a star to be doing that, bro. You need to put that number aside again. That's not disrespectful to Tracy McGrady and Penny Hardaway. They need to retire that number. But then it's who do you retire it for? It's like Penny or T-Mac. It's like, yeah.
If Powell wanted to wear that number, I'd be like, go ahead. You have earned that number. Jonathan Isaac, hell no.
Yeah, only Paulo I'll be cool with. Only Paulo.
You can't even wear Rashard Lewis's number. You can't even wear Jameer Nelson or Dwight's number. I'm sorry. You got ways to go, my guy. Yeah. Ways to go. But a player pickup that they had that I actually really liked was Tristan da Silva. I think that was a great pickup for them, because that solves one of their biggest issues of perimeter spacing. I'm interested to see how Jet Howard fits into that rotation, because I think he's got a lot of talent. I just don't know if it's going to be able to be seen playing in Orlando. They're
guard heavy roster. Yeah,
it's a very guard heavy roster. he doesn't have his pop size, but he can play big. You know what I'm saying? He's a good 2-3, but yeah, I don't know what they're gonna do at the point guard position. It all comes down to that because Cole Anthony looks like he's gonna be the spark plug guy, but quiet as kept. When Cole got the opportunity to start in the games where Suggs or Fultz were hurt, Cole was actually looking really good as a point guard. And I feel like he hasn't had a fair opportunity to really be a point guard. He's been kind of like this undersized 2 scrappy spark plug scorer, but he actually can play the point as a pure guy. I just don't know if Orlando is going to be the team that gives him that opportunity. Jalen Suggs, I mean, he got to go to Turkey and get some.
Defensively, he's good. Defensively, he's good. His shot got a little bit better, but I want to continue to see him. Like, I want to see you at least be. I'm not asking you to be a 20-point scorer, but if you could give me like 15 or 17 a game with efficient like 3-point shooting, that's all I'm asking for. I mean, the defense is there. Though. His defense is. Whew, I think he's gonna be an all-defensive guard one day.
He need to get like he need to go to Turkey or something. Get something from that dome, man. Like you. That's one of the worst things I've seen, man. That headband is holding on for dear.
Rock, man. Hey, that's a big brother for you, bro. Let him rock, bro.
This young man is 23 years old. What's going on? Who got you?
I don't know what's going on.
Wait, is he still with he not even is he not even with Paige Beckers no more?
I forgot they dated. I forgot about that.
Oh, she with I heard a rumor she with A Boogie, so maybe the stress got to him. He thinking about He thinking about the hybrid himself.
She ain't with A Boogie. She ain't with A Boogie. When I see it.
That's what. They was at a casino together after. They was at a casino together after one of his shows.
Hey, I believe when I see it, man. I believe when I see it.
They was looking awfully close, man. Hey, look, hey man.
Bella ain't gonna like that. A Boogie, Bella, his ex ain't gonna like that. So.
Hey, look, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. Like, I guess the artist is up in his head right now. But yeah, no. Like as a player, though, yes, he has to take leaps and steps as a scorer because he is a great defender, but he does need to work on that.
All right, where do we see the Magic finishing? So before we go to the next team,
Anthony Black, the kind of season that he has, that plays a big role into how they play.
Yeah,
you know. Magic. Ooh, it's almost like I completely forgot about Orlando and Cleveland.
Top five.
I got them 5 to 6 range as well, but I got them pushing top 5 if they figure out who is the guy at point guard. And if Wagner can find his stroke again, pause. And it's a crazy thing to say out loud, man, but I'm sorry. You know what I mean, though. You know what I mean. And I watch a lot of. I mean, look, hey, it's just off GP, man. I'm sorry, but you know, shout out to Killer and Mason, and it is what it is too, man. And then Bancaro, he continues to take that leap. I think he's, like I said, I'm super all in on the Paolo Banchero stock. I think he's got potential to be a face. He's got the chance to be the face of. He's got face of the league potential. Ooh. He's just in the market.
I think he'll be one of the faces. Definitely.
Yeah.
Top 5, definitely.
Yeah. I think not definitively the only, but he's got that kind of star ability. He's got that type of talent. But yeah, I've got them in top that. 5.
So we both agree top 5, top 6-ish.
Yeah. Okay. They're
this team is definitely making the playoffs unless a major injury happens to like Paul or something.
Yeah.
All right, so next we got the Cleveland Cavaliers, 48-34, 4th in the East. They signed Donovan Mitchell to a $150 million contract extension, keep him in Cleveland through 2028-29. Signed Evan Mobley to a 5-year, $224 million contract extension. We signed Jared Allen. Some questions I have for them is, can Evan Mobley progress offensively as a second option? Can him and Allen be that front court on a winning playoff team that makes a deep run? Isaiah Okoro made progress as a 3-and-D guy last year, shot a career high 39% from 3. But I want to see him because he came into the league known as a defensive guy, but he has an average over a steal or block per game in any season. Can he really be that defender that they need who can guard some of the best wings in the league. And then Garland, he's been injury prone the last couple of years after having basically making an All-Star game that year they had it in Cleveland. He has had some injuries and going downhill, and he stayed healthy. I want to see, because there's been rumors Garland Mitchell, can that work? Two small guards, who need the ball. Yeah. I know Garland can play off the ball though, because he's a guy who can shoot and he's a really good playmaker. So Donovan Mitchell's more of a guy who needs the ball, but he's proven he could play off the ball too. But the real big question to have is with Allen and Mobley. Their championship hopes rest on Mobley. His progression offensively, I think it rests on him, bro. Can Mobley be your number 2 option? We've seen since he came in the league, he's a generational defender, elite defensively, one of the best. He can guard basically every position. He can move his feet laterally with guards. He has a 7'4", 7'5" wingspan. He is elite defensively. He can guard every position, rim protector, everything. He's great at running the floor, athletic, mobile, everything. He took steps up in his 3-point shooting a little bit last year, especially near the end of the season. But can he be that? I want to see more off the bounce stuff from him. Can he create a shot off the dribble, off the bounce? He's always a guy who's a setup guy. If you're going to be a championship team with Cavaliers that you want, Mitchell's going to get most of the defensive assignments. He's the top dog. We know that. But when they're pressuring him, can Mobley be that guy to take pressure off him down the stretch?
Exactly.
You can get us a bucket too. You can give us 22 to 24 a game. I'm not asking for 30 because I know he's not that natural type of scorer to give you 30, 28 a game. But I want more than 15 to 7. I know there's more. We can get more out of you. I know there's more within you. You're too talented. I want to see 22 to 24 a game. You have that type of talent to be that number 2 option on the team. Because if they want to win a championship, it rests on Evan Mobley's shoulders, man. His progression offensively. If he can never progress offensively, if he stays where he's at right now, stagnant or plateaus, they're never going to reach. They're always going to be a second-round exit.
Yeah, no, that's a good point.
Allen's great protector, defensively anchor, but he pretty much is what he is. Mobley's so young. He has so much potential. Yes. He has a chance to be one of the all-time greats. A lot of people have said it through the years. When he came into the league, a lot of people were buying stock this guy's like Tim Duncan, Kevin Garnett. But we haven't seen we haven't seen the offensive progression. We know the defense is there. It's about if he can really be that go-to creator for himself offensively.
Yeah. No, that's facts. Because he struggled. He struggled in the postseason the first time, and then he played a little better, but still, it was again,
got a little exposed.
He did. It's the feeling of wanting more. So I think with him, to that point, it does the hopes and dreams of the Cavaliers ride on Mobley's shoulders. I think he does have his ceiling is like the names you named, Duncan, Garnett,
Chris Bosh too. He went a little bit Chris Bosh too.
I see some AD in his game, but he's got to just be more aggressive. I feel like that's also where a lot of it comes from. He just got to be more like I want to see him demand the ball more.
I know he's a quiet, down to earth, humble personality, but I want to see more dog. I want to see more dog.
Yeah, he seems like a very thoughtful. Again, seems like a very thoughtful, well-raised young man, and I salute and respect. He comes from a good environment. But on the court, oh no, I need you to give me the ball. I'm about to go to work. I'm about to go to town.
Hey, I see how a mismatch. Give me the ball. I'm going to work.
Yeah, I need to see that because it's you are too talented and skilled.
Dude, he's a tower, bro. Those 7 foot with a 7'5" wingspan, 7'6". If there's anybody who could give Wembanyama problems in the East, it's him.
It would be him, yeah, bro. He's got.
The defender to guard Wembanyama in the East, it's him. The prototypical.
As high as I am on Jalen Duren and Mark Williams, to me, I think the best young American big man prospect, big man, not oversized wing, but big man, like a true back to the basket big American is Mobley. I think Evan Mobley, if he had progressed this past season, he would have been on that Olympic team.
Wait, do you consider Paolo American?
I
know he's Italian, but he played for USA FIBA.
Yeah, he he is Olympic by like, you know, he was born and he's born and raised, so he's Olympic. But
I'm not taking Mobley over Paolo. I'm not taking Mobley over Paolo.
Paolo is a
he's a forward. He's a power forward. Power forward.
That's what I'm saying. He's a four that can play the three. He's big enough that if you had to throw him at the center, he could do it.
He's 6'10".
But you would prefer him to be at the 3 or the 4. With Evan Mobley, he's strictly 4 and 5. You can't put him anywhere else. So like as a big man, and having shades of that traditional back to the basket game, but also having a mid-range jumper, defensive ability, XYZ, talent-wise, I'm very high on Evan Mobley. In fact, there was a trade rumor that it was a package that the Celtics had came up with. And I was like, look, as long as we don't get rid of Tatum or Brown to do it, I'm with it. I think that's how high I am on him. But he has to take that leap. And the leap for him is, again, it's going to come down to him being more aggressive. But it's hard because you got two very ball-dominant guards. You got guys who, they do like to feed the ball and pick and roll and whatnot, but they also want to get their shots. Garland has some of the best handles in the NBA, and so does Donovan Mitchell. Donovan Mitchell is one of the best on-ball bucket getters since he's came into the league. So I think overall, the Cavs are a team that are very well put together. They're a team that gives my Celtics a lot of fits. They're a team that I don't like it's them and the Heat. Those are the two teams that I don't, and I'll throw the Knicks in there. Them three teams are the teams that I don't want to play. I feel confident against the Bucks, the Sixers, the Pacers, the Heat, the Magic. But those three teams, the Cavs, the Heat, and the Knicks, and specifically the Cavs, because when Jared Allen and Mobley are playing well, they are a very tough duo down low. They complement each other well, despite the fact that neither are really spacing the floor. I think that's a team that could push in that 3 to 4 range. But right now, I also we keep saying 5 to 6, but that's it's so hard to predict what they can do, because they've got, on paper, they've got a lot of talent. They've got role players like Strus, Tristan Thompson, Karis LeVert, Georges Niang,
Isaac Okoro.
They got Dean Wade. You know what I'm saying? And then I want to see. I'm still holding out that Amani Bates is going to be the player that he was projected to be. I don't see it happening in Cleveland unless they let him play his natural position of the 3, but they got him at point guard right now, which I don't get. That's where he's listed on the depth chart. But I would like to see him at the 3, because I'm not sold on Isaac Okoro. I was never high on him coming out of Auburn. I felt like he was a good, scrappy role player, but I feel like it was similar to the Patrick Williams thing. He got overdrafted to what his actual ability was.
Yep.
So I just don't. I think there is room there. It's kind of they kind of remind me, the Cavs. This Cavs team kind of reminds me of the Lob City Clippers team. How every year the small forward position was the one position that would make or break, and they tried all these different pieces and putting different people there. So I would like to see them give Amani a chance.
Yeah, because their wing position is their weakness.
That's by far their biggest weakness. And it's ironic, when you think about who was the last great wing that they had? We all know LeBron James.
And then again, I know Mobley's better defensively than Blake Griffin, but he's nowhere near as skilled as Blake Griffin was offensively. Nowhere near.
No. But I'm just saying, as far
he handles and can create for others. He was a great passer.
Yeah. But shout out to Blake Griffin, definitely a Hall of Famer in my book. Definitely one of the most exciting players at his peak. But yeah, they remind me a lot of the Clippers. Very exciting to watch. They built the team well, but it's all comes down to the small forward position, and then not Okoro, sorry, but Evan Mobley has to take that next leap. So I'm projecting them right now in the 4 to 6 range, but they could push for higher if players take that leap.
I got them in the 5 to 7 range. That's why I have them. 5 to 7.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not mad at that.
So the next team in the top 3 now. Let's try to do these little quicks. My Chiefs play at 425. So try to catch that game. Play the Niners. So we got the Milwaukee Bucks, 49-33, third in the East. Giannis tried to say he might get traded if the Bucks fail to win the title. That's a lot of pressure there, buddy. Why are you going to say, when you're the franchise guy, why are you saying you might get traded? That is crazy talk. Anyways, can Dame return into elite form consistently? He had some games last year. Well, he looked like old Dame. And then the next game, I'm like, this guy's shooting 2 for 15. This guy too hot and cold. Too hot and cold.
And then he is looking like old Dame. Then you like,
it's like, yo, Middleton dealing with too many injuries. Is he really a reliable third option anymore? I don't know. A lot of knee surgeries the last couple of years. Ever since they won that title, he's been getting riddled by injuries. He's a shell of himself at this point. You have a full season on their dock in training camp now to build better chemistry. Dame, he said he worked out this offseason now that he knew he was in a comfortable situation with a team because he wasn't worried about getting traded. Because last year he said he didn't work out because he was scared of getting hurt, especially if he was going to get traded because, if you're hurt, you can't get traded. So he didn't want to do that. And then they signed veterans who I think are going to make key contributions to the team, especially guys in the playoffs. Gary Trent Jr., he can really space the floor, really good shooter, hard-nosed, gritty defender. DeLon Wright, a lefty who can get you buckets, run the offense. When Dame needs a breather, he's a guy who can run the second unit. And Taurean Prince, a veteran who can give you some buckets, space the floor, stuff like that, who's played in some big games. So I think those guys, I think Giannis, it's a revenge tour for him. I have the Bucks if Dame could return to his All-NBA form, I see this team as the second best team in the East. If Giannis, I see coming on a revenge tour, bro. Me, Giannis is I think he's arguably the best player in the league. It's him and Jokic the top 2 for the last couple of years. You don't mess with that. I know Giannis, they've had some early playoff exits last year because Giannis got hurt and Dame in the first round against the Pacers. That's why they got bounced out. And then, the year before that, Giannis got hurt with the back injury he missed a couple of games against the Heat. That's why the Bucks got bounced out early in the playoffs. So, yeah, he's had some unfortunate injury luck, but he's usually one of the most durable players in the league. But I hope he doesn't get hurt this year because I'm going to have some injury questions with him. Because I'm like, you're turning 30 this year now. You're getting older. You ain't that young spring chicken no more. You ain't 25, 26, 27 no more, man. So I know you go really hard, but I think it's starting to take a toll on his body. So I just hope, he stays healthy and they can make a deep run. But yeah, I think this team could be top 2 in the East if Dame returns back to All-NBA status and Giannis stays healthy and dominates like he usually does. So
yeah, no, a healthy Bucks team is definitely a team that it's so tough. Like on paper, scared of them, but on the court,
the reason I have them number 2 as well is because I don't trust the Sixers injuries, guys. They're the injuries. You think the Bucks can't stay healthy? The Sixers, forget about it.
No, that's true.
Computer agreed. He said, "Damn, man, computer almost hurt itself."
But yeah, no, I agree. I think that ultimately the Bucks are a team that, on paper, if everybody stays healthy, are one of the best teams in the East, or they're definitely a title contender.
One of the best teams in the NBA, yeah.
And their title window hasn't evaporated, but it's starting to close.
Dwindling. It's dwindling.
It's dwindling. So they need to,
because this is not a young team. This is not a young team.
No.
And they don't have a lot of draft capital. They trade away a lot of their draft picks.
They are in a similar.
They're pretty much stuck with this team.
They are in a similar predicament as the Sixers of like we got to win now. But
we got like a 2-year window. 2-year window.
They've already won, so it's like, look, at the end of the day, you can take away that. Look, we won a title.
Yeah.
With this roster.
The Sixers haven't won anything. So it's different.
Yeah, Sixers ain't won since '83, so it's a little different for them. But I project that, Lillard is going to have a bounce back year. Giannis is going to be Giannis. He's going to be dominant. I think as long as Middleton is healthy, I think he's still one of the best third options in the league. I also picked him up in fantasy, so I'm just hoping that he stays healthy. But it's also about the pieces around them. How guys like Brook Lopez, Bobby Portis, Pat Connaughton, and then even the younger guys like Andre Jackson Jr., who I was very high on, Marjin Beauchamp, another young guy who I like a lot, Gary Trent Jr., who was a very underrated pickup for them. I like that pickup a lot. So it matters about the role players around the big three, quote unquote. It matters about how they play. The Bucks are a team that
I know Brook Lopez is getting a little bit older. He's not like the same, but I want to see if he can still be effective. I know he's had some back issues and stuff.
This is what I say about the Bucks. The Bucks are a team that if all cylinders are firing and on point, they could be a top 3 seed in the East easily, pushing that 2 spot. To me, they are a team that's not far from being not super far from the Celtics. Keyword, not super far. They're far, but not super far.
If they could get back to his NBA status and Middleton could just be like 70% of what he used to be, they could give the Celtics some trouble.
Yeah, they could give us some trouble, but realistically, I have them in the 3 to 4 range. I actually think they for sure are better than Miami. So let's bump Miami from that spot. But if they are hurt, I could also see it being another 6 to 8 seed spot. I don't think they'll be be like a low seed in the play-in. But if everybody is hurt again or they're not producing, I see them in that 6. They're in danger.
I see them like 5 dropping to 5th or something, 6. Like if Giannis or Dame are out, if Giannis or Dame are out for a prolonged period of time, I see them dropping. But if they're healthy, I see them being a top 2, number 2 or number 3 in the East.
Okay, I'm not mad at that.
Yeah, so we both got them near the top of the conference.
Yeah.
So we got the top 2 teams. We got the state we're in, New York, and we got your team, Boston. So I know you're excited for this. So next, number 2, New York Knicks. They 15-32 last season, and they had a big off season. Basically, a big splash right before the season. They at first, they traded for Mikal Bridges. It looked like we're gonna have to build Villanova forward. Him, Donte DiVincenzo, Jalen Brunson, Josh Hart, and then they made a big trade. Trading Julius Randle and Donte DiVincenzo to the Timberwolves for Karl-Anthony Towns. And they lost Hartenstein, Isaiah Hartenstein. To me, that's a big loss for them. He went to the Thunder. They didn't want to pay him they don't want to pay him the bag. They said, "Oh, Mitchell Robinson's our center of the future." And look at him; he's already out till January. So I'm just like, I'm not as high on them coming into this year as I would if they had Hartenstein, because he was an elite. He was a great rim protector for them, great lob threat. He gives you more size, more girth down low than Robinson does, and he's more durable. That's why. And he's really high IQ too, huh?
Gives you more what?
He has more size to him, bro. Come on, bro. Stop thinking so dirty, bro. Come on, man. We mature out here. Come on.
I'm sorry. I'll just anytime that word pops up, I'm like, what?
He has a higher IQ to the game than Mitchell Robinson. Robinson, to me, doesn't have the same IQ. So I think that's a big loss for the Knicks. It's going to hurt them defensively. And then I know Cat, he's a good playmaker and all that. So that kind of makes up for some stuff. He's a better player than Julius Randle. He's not a ball stopper. You're going to have an elite pick and pop game with him and Brunson. Brunson had the best year of his career last year. He killed in the playoffs, but I'm kind of worried about how all that mileage on him, especially for a smaller guard in the Tom Thibodeau system, playing high mileage minutes. I want to see how that affects him this year. I hope that doesn't affect him, but with Karl Towns there now to alleviate some pressure off him, a guy who has proven he can give you 25 to 28 a game, and one of the best shooters we've ever seen in league history as a big. So I think that pick and pop game is going to be very dangerous. You can't when he's going to the rim and he's crafty with his finishes. It's like, oh man, do I try to stop Jalen Brunson or Karl Towns who shoots like 40% from three? Do we try to? It's like which one do you? It's gonna be Brett. Once they get that down, bro, it's gonna be scary for the league offensively. But defensively is where I'm worried. I think in the interior defensively, I think they're gonna take a hit because Robinson's out until January. I don't, and then losing Devin. I don't mind them trading Randall, but trading DiVincenzo, I know he was barking at Rick Brunson. he was really because he wanted to stay there with his boys. He's like, man, y'all did me dirty, man. You traded me to Minnesota. I wanted to stay in the Big Apple with my brothers. Nobody want to be in Minnesota. This city where it's freezing outside. I know he was pissed. So I forget why he's mad, but that was funny to see. Because him and Jalen are like brothers, man. They go back to their college days, man. So I know it was a family fighting, but I think losing him off the bench, he's like a sixth man. So I think that's going to be a loss for them. I think the bench is going to get a little weaker, and then their interior defense, I feel like, is going to take a hit. I have that's why I have the Knicks below the Sixers. I have them at 4, especially if the Sixers stay healthy, because I think defensively they're just going to take a hit, and I don't think their bench is going to be as strong. So
yeah, that's the thing. They're a very top heavy team.
The starting 5 is great.
I think that's the thing. Like if they
Miles McBride though, I like off the bench. I think he's gonna be Deuce McBride or whatever you want to call him. I think he's gonna be he's gonna be vying for that 6th Man of the Year award because he is a gritty defender. Yeah, bro, he can get buckets, man. You saw there's some games, bro. He was really. If he can take that next step, he's going to have to be the DiVincenzo this year. He's going to have to be the DiVincenzo.
Well, they still got Hart. They got OG.
He's going to be starting. He's going to be starting.
Yeah, that's true. I think I have the Knicks as the second best team in the East, but they are very top heavy. So that is my biggest concern, and then defensively as well. That's my biggest concern. But I think the combination of Brunson and Cat, as well as Bridges and Anunoby and Hart, I think that's one of the best starting 5s in the NBA.
You signed Anunoby to a big contract.
They signed him to a big contract, so he also has to.
Yeah, I need you to stay on the court now, Anunoby. Stay on the court because when he stayed on the court, he was balling.
He was. Yeah. But they're the team that I fear the most versus my Celtics as far as like being an actual threat. But where we went out is through our bench, having the depth, having multiple players. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying, that are impact guys. And I think the Knicks have to figure that out. They have to figure out their big man core because you can't solely just have Cat as the 5. He's more of a 4. So you're going to need to see what a guy like Jericho Sims, what he can do at the 5.
You're going to have Ariel Huckporty coming off your bench as a center. 7'1".
7'1"?
Yeah.
I know they got
some minutes. He's going to have to fill in some minutes as well.
I know they got Precious Achua.
He's undersized. Also, he's 6'8", 6'9". He can't really play. Yeah.
So like I think he plays bigger than his size, but yeah, he's gotta.
You're going against like on the top bigs in the league or a star level. He's gonna get eaten alive.
Yeah, so I think overall with the Knicks, you know what I'm saying, if they if everybody stays healthy on the team in the starting 5, I think they've got they're a team to beat. They're one of the best teams in the East. So that's why I have them at that number 2 spot. And I hope, I genuinely hope they do well. The basketball is always better when the Knicks do well. And I think Jalen Brunson
is up right now, man. New York's doing well. So I want to see the Knicks do well. Because Brooklyn Nets, they're out of the discussion. At least for the foreseeable future. So, yeah.
Right now, football, they figuring things out. But as long as
baseball and basketball right now.
As long as basketball and baseball is good in New York, all is right.
And the Rangers, they almost win Stanley Cup, but hockey, baseball, and basketball are carrying New York sports right now.
Yeah, big time. Because we know the Giants and Jets both ain't really doing nothing.
Nah,
they got some promising pieces. Pieces, but ain't really doing nothing. And the Bills, upstate though, so it's a little different. A little different than the city. I mean, I'm out in upstate. You're out in the city, or closer to the city than me.
This guy.
So it's a little different.
But
it's a little different. But yeah.
To me, I have the Knicks at the 4th seed. I'm just worried about their interior defense.
I'm not mad at that though. I'm just high on the starting five, and I think
their bench took a little bit of a hit too. So
it did. They're
def. Not even just their bench. They're def overall. Losing Hartenstein and then trading away DiVincenzo, I think it's gonna hurt def a little bit, especially if they get an injury to one of their starters.
Now I will say if they get an injury
to not even just Brunson or Towns, if they get an injury to Mikal Bridges, they are screwed.
Yeah, because their perimeter scoring.
I'm more worried about Josh Hart getting injured because how hard he plays. Mikal Bridges is Mr. Durable, Mr. 82.
Their perimeter scoring was rough when they had OG hurt and they had to rely on DiVincenzo. Like, he's a good off the bench player, but you're not going as a coach, Dante, I need you to go out there and give me 20, give me 25. He's just not that kind of player. So that is where I am. That is where my concerns are. Is like you said, if Mikal gets hurt, that's a tough one because Mikal solves their problem of being a bucket getter on the perimeter. But it's not but if everybody is healthy, I think that's a very difficult team to beat. They can beat you in a variety of ways. And then once Mitchell Robinson is back in the fold, they'll have their 5, which allows them to move Hart back to like a 6-man role, but get like fourth quarter minutes. So yeah, I think overall they're the 2 seed in the East. That's my projection for it.
Okay, so you have them 2, I have them 4. So at least we agree they'll be among the top teams. They'll be among the top teams.
Yeah, they'll be one of the top seeds, but if
I said, if they had Hartenstein, I'd be higher on them. I'd be higher.
Yeah.
If they had Hartenstein, I probably had them vying for number 1.
Ooh.
Yeah. If they had Hartenstein and had Towns with this, they'd be challenging your Celtics. I would have the number 2, but I have the number 4 because I just think that's going to be a big blow.
I think they could be. Yeah, they're in that. They're same way with the Bucks. I said, like, they got the talent to be a number 2 seed, but if they lose any of their starter players to any injury, then now we're talking about a team that's in that 6 to 8 range potentially, just because of the lack of depth. So.
Yeah. All right, this is the final team. I know. He's like, yes. Last but not least, the best of them all, the reigning NBA champion, 64-18 last year, and won the title first in the East.
Whoa! Hey. Green up in this thing.
You should have worn one of your Celtics outfits or something.
I know. I was actually thinking about that, but I was
especially when you knew we were doing the East and they won the chip this year.
I didn't want to be that guy. I was like, let me not be.
Let me not be such a homer. But yeah, I didn't even take notes for them because they're bringing the whole game back. They didn't really make because they didn't have room because that tax apron's no joke, bro. They didn't have room to bring in anybody. So they basically bring the whole game back. They got Drew Holiday coming back.
We picked up Lonnie Walker.
Ooh. Well, no, they waived him. They just waived him.
Oh, they did?
Yeah, I got the alert yesterday, bro. See, bro, I be keeping up, bro. They waived him, bro. They waived him yesterday.
I was really... I really like that pickup.
Yeah, well, my alerts on Bleacher Report and ESPN be keeping me up to date on stuff because I can't watch everything.
Well, I like the pickup that we made at the end of the first round for Baylor Shireman. I think he's a very underrated player as far as like being a floor spacer and a gritty defender.
Big E selection last year.
He was Creighton.
We ran Big East Media Day.
Hey.
Yeah.
Wrong. I think we're not just the team to beat in the East, but we're the team to beat in the NBA.
Ooh. I'm gonna say this: I never seen an NBA champion coming into the year, reigning defending champions, disrespected so much. Jaylen Brown.
I swear to God.
They select. Tell me, no offense, Derek White, but they select Derek White, a role player, over the other star wing on the team to go to Team USA to replace Kawhi. Nah, he said, "No, I'm gonna show y'all this under the pool workouts I'm doing. I'm coming different this year." Jaylen Brown, he's gotten better every single year, man. His left hand's gotten better. His shot, everything over these last 2-3 years. Jason Tatum, Steve Kerr, you're going to play me sporadically in the Olympics when I'm one of the top 8 players in the entire world? You're telling me you can't find any minutes for me? Okay, bet. I'm going to show you in the regular season. Or, you know, when he was talking on media day, how he got some extra motivation. He's not going to name anything or any names, but, you know, you know you be fucking Steve Kerr's ass. Yo, he said, I don't want to say any names, but yeah, I got a little extra motivation coming to the year. You know, we know why. We know why. You're going to tell me I'm the reigning defending champion, I'm a top 8 player in the league, and you can't find me no damn minutes? Come on, bro. Come on. There's no excuse for that. There's no excuse.
They did my cousin dirty. Dirty. Dirty.
Oh.
They did my boy dirty, man.
And of all time, in my opinion, and Derek White, one of the best role players. He learned, I'm going to say this, before the Celtics got him, he learned those great fundamentals from Greg Popovich on the Spurs. I'm just saying.
Greatest coach.
That's why he's so fundamentally sound, bro. He's very fundamentally sound.
No.
Jrue Holiday, the best lockdown perimeter defender of this generation, the preeminent perimeter defender of this generation. Nobody wants to go against him. He's going to be there.
And the Bucks, the Bucks.
I know Porzingis is out until like December, Christmas time, or New Year's. So I'm worried about their size, interior, defensively, and then he was like that ultimate like weapon X factor who unlocked their offense a whole different dimension. Because they're 7'3", could bomb threes, protecting the rim, put the ball on the floor, playing the mid post. He gives you another 20-point score. He was like the third option. He's a third option, scoring wise.
I think what they're going to do is they're going to run Horford at the 5.
Yep.
Tatum at the 4, Jaylen at the 3, Derek White at the 2, and Holiday at the 1.
Yeah.
Which that's an unbeatable starting 5 in my opinion. But I think depth-wise, I think we're good. I wouldn't put it past. No, we have a very good but not great. I wouldn't put it past us to make a move during the trade deadline or just throughout the year. You know what I'm saying? I like Xavier Tillman a lot. I would like to see him get more minutes this upcoming year. I think he's a good big off the bench as far as physicality. He's not the biggest, but he plays bigger than his size. I want us to give Jordan Walsh more of an opportunity because I loved what I saw.
Ball-headed brother a chance.
Yeah, he got alopecia. He got alopecia. It ain't like he just said Zan. He got the Ryan Shazier, man. He got that alopecia. He got the Charlie Villanueva. But I like.
Hey, that's a good one right there. Yeah,
David UConn. But Jordan is a very physical player, but he can get a bucket. He was one of the top players of his high school class for a reason. Sam Hauser, great shooter. Doesn't offer you anything else, but one of the best shooters.
He can't dribble productive, but he'll spot up and shoot. If he dribbles, I can off his foot.
It's rough. I would like to see us find a role for J.D. Davidson and Jaden Springer, but they got to earn those minutes. Yeah. They got to earn those minutes. Because right now, Pritchard has that backup point guard spot locked and loaded, and Pritchard is a very underrated player. When he gets in the game, you know what I'm saying, he's ready. He plays with a chip on his shoulder, and he plays with a lot of heart. So I think overall, you know, it all comes back to Tatum and Brown.
I'd like to see you guys get a wing, some depth for Tatum and Brown to get some rest.
That's what
they don't really have a guy off your bench who's around 6'6" to 6'8". You could we could bring this guy in and give our Brown or Tatum a breather that he could give us production.
But that is where Walsh could fill that role. And I want us to give him a real opportunity because I think the potential is very high. And then once Porzingis comes back, we really are going to be cruising. I would like to see us give Neemias Queta a bit more PT because I really love we don't have a true big on our roster that is an actual back-to-back. He's 7 foot. The Celtics are allergic to big men that are taller than 6'8". It frustrates the hell out of me. they see a big man who's 7 foot. You know that
I
one
mean,
meme.
Horford is like 7 foot, 6'11".
No, Horford's 6'9", 6'10".
Yeah, he's 6'10", 6'11". He's around there. You said anyone over 6'8". He's over 6'8".
He more on the 6'9" range, like to be like.
And he's older now. You don't want to rely on him. He's older now. He's like 40 almost.
And he's also older. He's on it. He's also on his way to the Hall. But he's on his way out.
So last year, but he said, "Now let's run it back."
I did too, and I wouldn't have been mad if he did. But that's
he wants to try to repeat. Want to try to repeat?
I respect it. But we for sure have to figure out. We have to figure out which young guy is going to step up and fill into that complimentary role. Because we got our stars, we got our guys that we know are the bucket getters, but we need those other pieces to figure themselves out. I think overall, again, we're not just the best team in the East. I think we're the best team in the league, and I don't say that just because I'm a Celtics fan. But I just think that
in the East, and I think the only team that can challenge you for best record is the Thunder. That's it.
I'm not mad at that. Not mad at that. I think the only teams that are.
Oh no! I was gonna say, I was gonna say my finals prediction. I have the Celtics and Thunder in the finals. Yeah,
I would love that finals. I would love Celtics Thunder, Celtics Nuggets, or Celtics Timberwolves. That's one of the three. I'll be happy.
I don't see the Nuggets coming out. I don't think they have the depth anymore. They lost a lot of key veteran guys over the years. I don't see them. But I see the Thunder. I just don't see what team. Timberwolves, I'm worried about their spacing. The Thunder seem to have like no weaknesses. They seem to have every piece they need.
No, that's true. That's true. Like on paper, like as far as like
they have the depth. Paper, they have size. They got the skill. They have the superstar go-to guy.
Yeah.
They have the second dude. Like
that isn't no.
I just don't see any.
Now I will say this. I feel like for one, this is my thing on Tatum and Brown. I think Brown to me is the best two-way, two-guard in the league. In my opinion, two-way wing as far as offense, defense. And I also don't think we've seen the best from Jason Tatum. I feel like he not only got disrespected in the Olympics, but I just feel like he just gets disrespected as a whole. I mean, I'm not going to lie. He's my favorite player in the league right now. No shame in my game. No shame in my game. But I don't even feel like we've even seen the best because there are times where his shot IQ is horrible. Horrible. God awful. But he can get away with it because he's so talented. But I feel like if he takes smarter shots, remembers that he's 6'10" instead of playing like he's 6'2", and he's able to continue to find ways to contribute when his shot isn't falling. He's actually my pick to win MVP this year. I think he's coming. Like, we want to talk about Vengeance Tour. He won a finals. Everybody all summer has been on his head about, he's corny, he's not authentic because he's over here biting everybody's post-game stuff. I look at it like, look, Jason is a student of the game and he loves the game. We talked about Ant last episode. I love Ant, but he has very little respect for the game. And that's a problem. Jason doesn't have that problem. He loves the game. He eats, sleeps, and breathes basketball. Loves the history. So I think that should get celebrated a lot more. And I think that also, like, the fact that he didn't win Finals MVP and he didn't play the best as far as like his shooting was off. He didn't really have. He played well as the series progressed, but he didn't really light it up like I was expecting. I was expecting him to feast. So I still think he has more to prove, but you talked about Giannis revenge tour. I think Jason is going on a revenge tour this year. I think this is Jason Tatum's year where he's going to say, I am the best American baller. I don't want to hear any debate about anybody else. It is me, myself, and I.
He said, AD, Steph, LeBron, make way. I'm that dude now for this new generation.
Exactly. So we both agree we got the Celtics going to the finals again? I got them winning. I got them, and I got Tatum this time getting Finals MVP. And he got to come up with his own. He got to come up with his own speech. Don't get me wrong. I don't want you to go up there and take KG or Kanye or Kobe or anybody else. I want to see. I want you to come. Just be original, but just go out there and shut everybody up. I want you to dominate, and he's also a player where it's like, if he unlocks that, like that's the one thing. All these players that talk about the Mamba mentality, but the thing that made Kobe have that Mamba mentality is that he wanted to kill and destroy you. I want to see that from Tatum. I know he has it in him. I've seen him do it. He's quiet when he does it, but you see in his play. He loves doing it against Philly. He loves Philly. He's oh yeah, I'm ready.
Yeah.
I need to see him do that against Philly, Milwaukee, and New York. Those are the three teams I need exactly. And then obviously Miami. Miami's always a thorn in our side. Cleveland is a team that they present some matchup problems. I'm not discounting Orlando, but those three teams primarily, Philly, New York, and Milwaukee. I need to see that killer. I need to see you go out there like I'm here to destroy. I'm here to sweep y'all out the game. So Jason Tatum revenge tour. Stay tuned.
We both got Celtics repeating as champions. I got them repeating.
Sure.
Yes, all right, sir. Dylan, it's been a great episode here doing the Eastern Conference. I know we dynamic duo instead of a quadruplet this time, but hey, it still came out good. Before we leave, tell people to find your work, man.
I don't even know at this point. No, just kidding. I've been a little MIA because of my work situation. I work for a company called We the Hobby. Tremendous company. Check us out.
I don't know about tremendous, but
check us out. Look. We check us out on Whatnot. Check us out on Fanatics. We stream every day, sports talk and card consumption, card purchases. Breaking and opening. And then you can follow me on YouTube at Chilling with Dylan 1229. Right now, I have no idea what's going on with social media, so I would give y'all something to promote, but
RIP to his stuff.
it's bad, man. It's bad.
No more. I said I can't attack it no more.
But you can find me on LinkedIn at Dylan Bruton. This my government name. And
Facebook too. They don't on Facebook, man.
I am on Facebook. You can find me in my name as well. So yeah,
get that, man. I can't forget that.
I'm gonna figure the marketing out right now. I've just been so busy with work. I've been so busy with trying to get better at my job. You know what I'm saying? But it's always a pleasure, DJ, anytime. And you, like I said, anytime you call, I answer. So I'm always whatever you got going. Oh, wait. But you can check me out on DJ's sports website because I'm gonna be doing some articles up on there.
Hey, that means get started, so that'll be coming soon.
Your boy's dusting the pen off, getting out of retirement.
He's gonna dust off the pen off the little cobwebs in the brain for writing.
You know what I'm saying? I'm ready to get up out there, put that pen to work because I love writing. I love it.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's been another great episode here on DJ Sports with my guy Dylan Bruton. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode as we gear up for the NBA season, and make sure you guys check out Western Conference Preview as well if you haven't. I'm your host DJ Hamilton, and I'll see y'all next time. Peace.
I'm Dylan Bruton. Stay blessed.